Yellow buoy's not set yet. It's part of the start line over here. Yeah. So 10K, you're going to pass one yellow buoy, go to a far yellow buoy, left-hand turn around that, go to the sailboat, come through the channel. You'll see a yellow buoy. That's the middle one. You're going to do your right-hand turn there, come back to the dock, make a left-hand turn, and you do that same course one more time. No. On the way out, no restrictions. I would just go where you can go. Yep. Now, the final lap, the last lap, you'll just make this final turn one more time. So last lap, the last lap, you'll turn one more time here at the dock, go to the north buoy, and then come straight back. And the north buoy is, again, a left-hand turn. Second one, that's right. Finish straight between the orange and the dock. That's right.
Do you have to stay to the right of the intercoastal marker on the far side?
There's not really, it'll be pretty much a straight shot. There is an unmarked marker there that you can just go around that. Okay. We have a little bit of time after I think the endurance course is pretty straightforward. We have a little bit of time, so if there are any questions, I'm happy to meet with people and go through things. We have some VIPs here. One is Alan Perry, our mayor. Grew up on Hilton Head. I just want to have him say a few words. We're super happy that he came out today.
Hey, I'm glad. Well, no, I'm not. I'm not glad Mother Nature showed up like this. But really, John, Mike, what a great testament to this location, which y'all have done. The 6th annual, have the national championships here this year. You know what? We want to welcome all of y'all from across the country to Hilton Head and to this really special place. I don't know if you know the history about this location, but it was saved by 10 shrimpmen. They went up from here to D.C. with 40,000 signatures to keep BASF from coming in down the river to save these waters. There are 2 of those individuals left on this island, and we really owe them a great deal of gratitude for what they've done and how they've protected our area. But from Hilton Head, welcome all of y'all. Hope you have a great day. It's not going to lighten up. I'm sorry. I wish I had a direct line. But I don't. But anyway, thank you all for being here. You know what? We really appreciate your tutelage and coming down to Hilton Head every year for this and make it great. And to have the national championships, wow, that's really special. So y'all enjoy, stay safe, heed the rules, stay out of the oyster shells. You don't want them, but do well and have fun.
Thanks, Alan. Okay, we got Andrea Snyder, Lally Mole for our national anthem.
Hello. Yes. Thank you. This one right here? This one right here? Oh, you got one? Check, 1, 2. Yeah. Good luck, everybody. Thank you. I'm glad to be back. We're glad to be back. Okay. I know I'm hyper.
Okay, check.
Come on here, girl. Yeah, come here. Yeah, come in. Ready, go. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light. What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and the bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets reckless, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, that gets you going. Okay, so a couple last things. One, if you're getting in off a surf ski and an OC, do not get through the marsh. We got our eyeballs on you over there. Okay, you guys got to come down the dock and get off the floating dock. It's a great dock named after Lee Edwards, one of our sponsors. So we want to use that nice floating dock. We want to get one picture with everybody, and everybody's got to get in it. So let's line up this way going backwards, and we're going to have one of Joel's team members stand up on the bench here.
Good job, John.
Hey everybody, 9:15 start. 9:15 start. That's only 5 minutes late. That's pretty good.
Would be probably our best estimate.
Checky, 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 checky. 1, 2, 3. Toast.
I see faith through the pain, I see light in the rain. Dreams of brighter days, tell me what you're thinking. I have hope in my spirit, flames of love in my heart. Baby, let me tell you something, I'm about to dance. You realize you're not in control. Once again, tell you once again. Hallelujah, I'm on my way to be the best version of me. Mama knows how to wake you up to dance. Mama knows and not a mama knows how to wake you up to dance. Mama knows how to wake up to dance. Mama knows and not a mama knows how to wake you up to dance. Now I'm rolling down the river, unstoppable today. Sticks and stones may break my bones. Time to erase all the memories of misery and pain. I'm no longer the one you knew. You realize you're not in control. Once again, tell you once again. Hallelujah, I'm on my way to be the best version of me. Mama knows how to wake you up to dance. Mama knows and not a mama knows how to wake you up to dance. Mama knows how to wake up to dance. Mama knows and not a mama knows how to wake you up to dance. Mama knows how to wake you up. Mama knows how to wake you up. Mama knows how to wake you up. Mama, mama, mama. Mama knows how to wake you up. Mama knows how to wake you up. Mama knows how to wake you up. Mama, mama, mama. Mama knows how to wake you up. Mama knows how to wake you up. Mama knows how to wake you up. Mama, mama, mama. Mama knows how to wake you up to dance. Mama knows and not a mama knows how to wake you up to dance. Mama knows how to wake up to dance. Mama knows and not a mama knows how to wake you up to dance.
I don't know if I trust your statement. You didn't really evaluate it. So, yeah, whatever.
Check, check, check. Check, check, check.
OluKai shoes bring the comfort of walking barefoot on wet sand to any journey. Because we don't travel to go further, we travel to get closer. And no matter how far we go, we can always bring the aloha with us. Any moment can feel like you're stepping into the spirit of Hawaii. Say aloha to OluKai. Anywhere comfort, anywhere aloha. OluKai slippers bring the comfort of walking barefoot on wet sand to any occasion. So every get-together feels just right. Because the comfort of aloha is something that always feels like home. Say aloha to OluKai. Anywhere comfort, anywhere aloha.
Check, check, check.
1, 2,
Check,
1,
check.
2.
Boost it. Thank you.
All right. Hey, if you are watching on the live stream, welcome to the 2024 USA SUP Nationals OluKai Paddle Battle in Hilton Head, South Carolina. I am Dr. Rob Sanoa, and I am joined with Monty Jet.
Hey, Dr. Rob, how are you? Welcome.
Doing great. And I'm also joined with Casey McCullough. Did I do it right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we also have John Miskowskis coming in a minute. As you guys are watching right now, the surf ski race just kicked off. They are going to go really far and really fast, and we hope you are going to join us all morning. We will be broadcasting live multiple races over the next 3 hours. It is give or take 9:15 a.m. Eastern time, and we are going to have a blast today. Monty, tell us a little bit about what's going on here today and why we're out here.
Well, thank you, Dr. Rob. We've got the first one's going off and going around Pinckney Island. That's the longest race. It's a beautiful national preserve, and it's quite a race. It's going to take them a while. But I want to talk to Casey McCullough. Casey won the 80-mile crossing for cystic fibrosis. That was back in 2021. Congratulations. You're the only person that's done that, Prone.
Thanks. Yeah, so back in 2021, that was my first crossing. So it's an 80-mile paddleboard adventure from Bimini in the Bahamas over to Lake Worth Beach, Florida.
Oh, my God.
We get about the same number of paddlers that are here at this event now. So
Yeah.
up to 200 paddlers. That's where we have to cap it off because Bimini's a small island. And yeah, anyway, that year it was a rough year. A little bit different than conditions out here where you get some flat water
Right.
to paddle in here, but with the crossing you're out in the ocean.
Now, how do you train for 80 miles?
You paddle a lot.
I bet you
All the
do.
time.
Dr. Rob's a chiropractor, so he knows all about physical training and keeping your body aligned and in shape. So
That's the goal, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be incredible.
When the spine's lined up and the nervous system works right, everybody's happy. We have John joining us here.
All right, John Miskowskis, who is the founder of Flying Fish Board Company. He's been paddling since 2009. Before he got into stand-up paddleboarding, though, he was minor league baseball and a boat captain. Hey, John.
You do your research pretty well. Yeah, that is my background. I played for the Colorado Rockies for a few years, and then after that, decided to be a fishing captain. And then after, tired of skin cancer and all that stuff all the time, I decided to start designing paddleboards.
Designing them, that's incredible. Where did you do your boat captaining?
In Stuart, Florida, so all throughout the waterways in Stuart.
It's a long way from the Colorado Rockies, but we're glad you're here on Hilton Head Island to tell us a little bit about the Flying Fish Board.
Well, it's a project of mine for the past 8 years. We started designing them and building them in my garage, believe it or not. That's where I started. And now we have a factory in Stuart, Florida. We employ, 4 or 5 people. So it's not, it's still small business, but if you see out here today, there's a fair number of them.
Well, tell me a little about the design that, because it's different when it's a racing board. Are you designing strictly for racing?
Oh, yes. Okay. That is our premier, I'd say our premier board design is racing. We build boards for surfing and leisure and everything, but out here today, you're going to see everything is racing. Our primary or our flagship model is called the Freedom, and we have 2 versions of it, the Freedom and the Freedom Pro. So if you hear me reference, either a Pro or a Freedom, that's what I'm talking about. But it's an all-water race board designed for flat water, rough water, kind of all conditions, sort of what we're going to see here at Hilton Head.
Well, in case people just tuning in, we do have rain. It's been raining all morning, but we don't have much wind today to deal with, just a little light breeze. And we also have a rising tide, so that's going to help the paddlers, right?
Yeah, I think some paddlers are going to be able to take advantage of the little wind that there is. Believe it or not, some paddlers will find a way to take advantage of that, and definitely learn the different currents. And yeah, you're going to see a lot of strategic racing, I think, today.
Well, thank you, John. And let me get back to Casey for just a moment. Casey, tell us a little bit about the Piper's Angels Foundation that you're involved with and founded.
Yeah, so I'm actually really thankful for Piper's Angels Foundation because it got me into paddling, and this was one of the first big races that I did 4 years ago, you know, and I've been here ever since, and it's like brought me to a really awesome community. And so Piper's Angels Foundation is a nonprofit to help serve families and individuals that are affected by cystic fibrosis. So we have our big crossing for cystic fibrosis every year. That's our fundraiser that funds all the programs that helps these families.
Now, the crossing is going from Florida to the Bahamas, or?
So everyone leaves Florida, boats over to the Bahamas, Bimini in the Bahamas, spends a couple days there, hang out, have fun snorkeling, fishing, diving. We have some events on the island just to get everybody together. And then we paddle the 80 miles back to Florida. And you can do it solo. You can do 2-person relay, 4-person relay, really however many person relay you want to do it.
Any interesting things during that paddle, like sharks swimming by, or maybe a pilot whale
I've heard about
cruising?
this flying fish story.
There's you know, it's funny. I've done it multiple years, and the only thing that I've seen out there is flying fish, which I love because it's like, you know, I'm out there on my flying fish board seeing flying fish like hit me, and you know that happens all through the night, whatnot. But yeah, people have seen different types of sharks out there. There was a viral video that went around of one of our paddlers getting followed by a hammerhead.
Yeah.
It's just curious, nothing crazy. And some pilot whales, mahi, sailfish.
How long does it take?
Typically, the average, I would say, is about 16 hours. So it just kind of depends if you're doing a relay. That can be anywhere from the fastest teams coming in at like 10 to 11 hours. But then as a solo paddler, typically the solo paddlers start coming in around 13 hours and maybe up to like 17.
Monty, you ready for a little 10, 11, 12-hour paddle?
Yeah. You know, it's on my bucket list, and I lost that bucket years ago.
Well, if you want, we have boat support for each paddler, so you could just come hang out on the boat for the boat ride back.
Captain Monty. There we go.
Yeah,
Now you got a way to fulfill that bucket.
Yeah, I want to see Monty commentate for 16 hours.
Now we're talking.
Like that alone is a challenge.
I have done that. I've done so many hurricane coverages and been on the air for 7 days straight. So yeah, I can talk.
You can pull it. You can pull it off.
You're hired.
Okay, let's talk about, if you are joining us on the live stream here and you're wondering what's going on, we are probably roughly 15 to 20 minutes away from the 5K and 10K stand-up paddleboard start. Let's talk a little bit about the layers that these paddlers are going through today, and really what's on the line for them. First and foremost, this is the OluKai Lowcountry Boil, and this race has its own special significance. And coming out and winning the long distance race here is its own feat and its own powerful, you know, winning ability that somebody would have there. But on top of that, we are also hosting the USA National Championships that will be happening. So they will be crowned a U.S. long distance national title holder. If you want to go to a third layer, we are also choosing the USA team who will be representing USA in the ICF, that's the International Canoe Federation's World Championship in November in Sarasota, Florida, which we hope you will come to. And if you really want to get to a fourth level, these individuals who were in the sprint yesterday, the long distance today, and the tech tomorrow could win the overall national championship title as well. So there's a lot of layers here. There's a lot on the line. John, what do you think about all that?
Well, we talked about it yesterday a little bit. Different paddlers have different disciplines that they excel in. So yesterday we saw Maddie Miller win the sprint race, and virtually, I mean, for most part, unknown paddler, right? I mean, obviously I know her, and down in Florida we know her, but for the most part she never races internationally or anything like that, and she comes out
almost like our dark horse yesterday.
Yeah, she was
right?
definitely a dark horse. She beat, you know, Seychelle Webster, who's the current ICF world champion sprinter, so that's a big feat. And Seychelles obviously is very, very well respected. So,
And
but-
she's here today too.
and
Glad
she's-
to
yeah.
have her back again.
Yeah, all the women are back today. Now today is a different story because the discipline of distance is a completely different game than a 200-meter sprint. So in today's race, somebody like Seychelles Webster's, Kim Barnes, Stephanie Schidler, that's more their discipline. So it's interesting, Rob.
It's going to be powerful.
Yeah.
And not only that, but they're all trying to give their best today and potentially save energy to go in the waves, in the ocean waves for the tech race tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's a whole nother ball game. That's like the ultimate challenge, right? Of endurance, technical skill in the waves. So tomorrow's going to be, like you said, 3 disciplines to determine the overall champion. It's going to be really exciting to see what happens today, because after today, we'll really know what men and women have to finish tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
We're going to have a really good
We'll
idea.
have a good idea of where their point standings are and maybe what that equals, which would be fun.
Correct.
So, and I was hearing a couple forecasts that there's an incoming little swell that's brewing a little bit, that we might have maybe 3-4 foot waves out there, which, you Floridians, you know how to handle that. But a lot of these flat water specialists out here, they're not as familiar with that.
Well, let me tell you what. Campbell Carter out of Wrightsville Beach, he's very good in the waves. So it's not just us Floridians.
That's true.
Bodie Von Allman trains in Hood River a lot. So I'd say the majority of these racers have spent, at least the top racers, men and women, have spent a fair amount of time in the waves. So it's going to be fun tomorrow. That's all I could say. It's really going to be fun.
Well, today's rain gave a little practice too, because it looks like we're going to have rain again tomorrow.
Yeah, looks like it. Luckily, if you're joining us, you can see here in the background all these paddlers are getting staged for their race. And quite honestly, our rain has slowed down.
Yes,
it's still out there. They're getting a constant mist. But over the last 3 hours, we had a constant rain, and we're going to have some challenges with that. Please give us a little bit of leeway. We can't fly drones in the rain, and yet they're going to be trying their best, our video crew, to get you as much coverage as humanly possible. We have 5 different cameras out here to bring this live action your way and to get you psyched up, jacked up, and ready to go jump on your paddleboard if you're not here, and come to an upcoming race nearby.
There's so many different styles of board out here. I'm watching as they're going by now. John, tell us a little about the different styles.
Well, there's probably 5 to 6 premier brands that manufacture race boards. If you're looking on your screen right now, you're seeing 3 different ones right there. An Infinity just off screen, one of our boards just off screen, and an SIC. Most of the boards I'm seeing walking by are all water boards, like we talked about, all around boards, because Hilton Head is not pure flat water. But yeah, it's if you look at the different deck depths, different dugouts, standard decks, it's still an evolving sport for sure.
Yeah, there
Hey,
goes
John-
your flying fish by. Looks good.
Hey, John, when for the average person out here who they're riding on an 11-foot board, they've been out paddling a little bit, they bought their first board, they're enjoying it, and then they're looking at these boards, and they want to know, okay, like, what's my next upgrade, and what should I consider? What's some just fun tips for the average person as they're considering moving up into a faster board?
If I if I had to really break it down to a basic level, I would say still focus on stability when you're new. Don't try to go too narrow too soon. So usually if somebody comes to me and they want to get their first race board, I direct them in that 25 to 26 inch range. Still way faster than what they're used to paddling. So
And on average, most individuals are probably starting on a 30-inch to 34-inch wide board, right?
Right, for a recreational board,
Yeah.
most of those range from 30 to 34, 35, yeah. So, you do gain some stability with the length of the board. So going to a 14-footer, you do add quite a bit of stability right there. So generally speaking, 25 to 26 inches. If you're a smaller female or maybe a smaller guy, maybe a 24. But my advice is always to don't push your limit too early.
Well, I see an outrigger out there, so that's different. So I guess they're not racing, I would take it.
Yeah, we have outriggers, surf skis. There's quite a bit in this. I think there's even some prone paddlers, right?
Yeah, I think we have a pretty solid prone division, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6 different prone paddlers, which, they're their own unique niche group a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit crazy, I think, but it's a 10K on your stomach.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
It is impressive.
Okay, so let's take it one step further. The average person's riding a 30 to 34-inch board recreationally. Then they're moving to a 25. Let's talk about what all these individuals are on today, because they're probably not on 25-inch wide boards.
Yeah, if you're talking about the top athletes that are going to be in the top 5 to 10 in this race, I would say you're seeing boards from 19 and a half inches to about 22 inches.
Yeah.
22, believe it or not, is starting to be considered a wider board. It's really hard to believe. I personally ride a 22 and a half, but yeah, let's call it 23, right? Maybe 23.
Yeah, 21, 22, 23 is what most of these individuals are on that are out here, and they're all 14 feet long. Most of the recreational boards are 10, 11 feet long, so they're longer, they're harder to turn, but at the same time they move a lot faster than the recreational board. So when you're looking to move up, make sure you check out those brands like John was saying, Flying Fish and Starboard and Infinity, 404, SIC. These are all some major powerful brands that are making some of the best boards on the planet.
Is the prone a different division, different heat?
Yeah, they have their own division that they're going to be racing in. Not only that, but it's going to be split up between Grandmasters 60+, Masters 50+,
wow,
and then the Open division, which is 18 to 49 years old in stand-up paddleboarding. We have a pretty big division more times than not. Runners and racers.
Right.
They have divisions that are, within 5, years of an age group, or maybe 10, and we have an 18 to 49 division. So there's a lot of individuals going at it.
Sounds like an advertising schedule. Well, Casey, of course, you're a world champion prone paddler. What can you tell us about our prone competition here today?
So I picked up prone paddling just last year when I decided to do the crossing prone. Unfortunately, last year we had a storm that came by, so we had to pick up in the boat, and I didn't get to do the full 80 miles, but I did 68. So during that 68 miles, I really got to, kind of figure out what prone paddling is all about for a long time, and being with yourself, laying on your belly, getting on your knees, whatnot. But yeah, with prone paddling, a lot of people think that it's much harder than stand-up paddling, or just like one of the harder paddling divisions. Yes and no. I would say like it's more difficult in the aspect of like you're using less muscle groups, so it's like everything's focused like neck and shoulders pretty much, instead of like being able to use your quads, your lower body, like your full back, your arms, everything. So a little bit more intense when it comes to that, and not being able to move around, not even getting airflow. Like,
well, what about was it cramping problems that you don't usually have?
I don't know. Personally, I didn't really experience cramping too much with prone paddling, but I feel like that's one of those things that comes down to nutrition, hydration, trading.
Right. Dr. Rob.
I think what always blows my mind is that chin rest.
Yeah.
That just seems so uncomfortable, and yet probably completely necessary.
It's so helpful. If anybody wants to get into prone paddling and you grab a chin rest, my biggest piece of advice is put some Vaseline on your chin first, because even though that chin rest is smooth, like just like having something rub against your skin, especially for 80 miles, if you try that
I was going to say, doing a 3-mile paddle is one thing. 68, that's a whole nother level.
Yeah, and let me tell you what, I've also seen some male prone paddlers that are brand new to the sport and not realizing they should wear a rash guard when they paddle.
Oh, yeah, not fun.
And I have seen some terrible, terrible rash in some very uncomfortable looking positions. So, wear a rash guard.
There you go.
Strengthen your neck. That's what bothered me when I tried it. I think I paddled about 300 yards with one time and said, okay, this sport's not for me. This hurts my neck. So anyway, that's why I said they're a little bit crazy.
Let's, John, let's talk about this race course. We don't have a visual of a race course now. Okay, so we have 2 courses that are going to be happening in staggered stance. We're going to start with the 10K paddlers are going to go off here first, and they're supposed to be right around a 9:45 start. So if you're watching, they're within 10 minutes, I would think, of their start. And let's talk about that course. Do you want to? You know the waters the best. You got a good idea of where they're going here?
Well, I'm not sure how far they're going. I missed Dr. John Batson's description of the race, but they're going down Skull Creek towards Port Royal Sound, and they'll pass all the string of restaurants along Skull Creek, which will include the new Benny's Kitchens, Coastal Kitchen. You've got Hudson Seafood on the docks. You've got the dockside, and you've got the boathouse. So those are all good viewing areas
so they can
watch
stop
the
and
boat.
get some food on the way.
You know, they do have portable cocktail stand out there for those inclined, maybe for a painkiller. But they'll go down beyond the Skull Creek Marina and turn around there and head back.
So the 10K paddlers are going to do 2 laps around, and then they're going to do what they are calling a hot lap. They're gonna burn right down to, what's the restaurant right at the end there?
At the end is the boathouse.
They're gonna go towards the boathouse or Benny's. They're turning around and then they're coming straight back. Where the 5K paddlers are gonna do 1 full loop and then a hot lap.
Yeah.
So it should be really interesting. We're gonna try to get you coverage, and at the same time, everybody's gonna be going everywhere. So it's just gonna be a mess of awesome coming up.
Yeah, there's going to be, with a course like this, it's 2.5 laps, like you said. And using the term hot lap, for if anyone's watching this broadcast who's into stand-up racing, they're going to say, oh, I didn't know there's a hot lap in that race. It's not actually a true hot lap. What a true hot lap means is they can choose that lap anytime during the race. For this race, it is the final lap. So you don't get to choose when you do it. So Badson said, originally it was called a hot lap, and then Badson, his description was, well, by the time you hit that lap, you'll be hot. So
maybe not today,
but to go back to the race course,
more of a final lap.
Yeah, so it's more of a final lap. But with a distance race course like this, having the buoy turns that you're going to have because of the laps, it actually plays a fairly big factor into the race, because when you get a group of men or women that are similar pace, you're going to see a lot of draft trains get formed. And on a course like this, the only place to really make a good move is on a buoy turn. So if the leader of the draft train can get a clean turn and maybe sprint 2 or 3 board lengths away from the train, that forces the rest of the train behind them to excel their heart rate to catch back up to the draft, or else you are now separated and you're gone. So there's a huge factor in drafting, and when you factor in buoy turns, that's going to be the deciding factor. Unless somebody like an Erie Tenorio has the ability to just pull away on his own if he wants. But I feel like in the women's division, it's going to be a draft train that's going to last for quite a while.
And we remind everyone, too, that we have the long race around Pinckney Island, and that's a long race. Have you done one like that? Have you ever done the Pinckney Island?
I personally have not. I've only done the 5K in this event, but I believe that is for our sit-down craft. So the sit-down craft are your outriggers, your surf skis.
Mm-hmm.
Those crafts travel on average about a mile an hour faster than stand-ups. So they're a faster craft. They're 19 to 21 feet long, very narrow hull design, designed for speed. So that's why their course is a little bit longer and less maneuverable, right? So doing the buoy turns in a sit down and is a little tougher. So
well, they're going to be going out all the way down Skull Creek into Port Royal Sound, and then there's big sandbars out there, and so you have to swing around kind of wide at the end of Pinckney Island and come back through. And then they'll come back to our rear under the Hilton Head bridges. So you're passing over the bridges, you see a bunch of paddlers out there, you'll know what it is.
Yeah, and I believe that's about a 9-mile course, if I'm correct. So,
That's going to be exciting.
So from what I understand, the current isn't going to play a monster role today because it's already moving in decently from earlier this morning. It's still there.
Yeah, I think also with the course layout, you're going to have it, you know, you're going in a circle. So you're basically going to have it with you, against you, with you. So I think really where current is going to play a factor is somebody who's really good at reading the water and knowing where those little ebbs and flows are. And believe it or not, in stand-up paddleboard racing, you're talking tenths of a mile an hour. So,
and now we've got that course up for you, so you can visualize this with us. Let's, Monty, do you want to walk us through? The left side is where we're starting. If you're looking at the left side of the screen here, down on the very bottom, those docks are where we're hanging out there, and these individuals are going to go, which way's north?
Well, yeah, they're heading north and towards Beaufort into the Port Royal Sound. And then they'll go by the row of restaurants there, you see. And
they've got a left buoy turn there.
Yeah,
they're going to be moving around.
It looks like they're turning before Skull Creek Marina. Yes, so they're turning before Skull Creek Marina on the 5K lap. And the 10K, because they're going to do it twice.
Yep, so they're all going to do this first lap here, making that at the very top of the screen on the left, you can see that yellow buoy. They're going to make a left shoulder turn. They're making it around Skull Creek that way. And then they have a buoy towards the very bottom left, you can see again, where they're going to make one more left turn. And then this is where it gets a little dicey, where they have to kind of make their way through a cool little channel. They're going to make a right buoy turn coming down close to us. Left buoy turn to start their second lap. And the 10K individuals, they're going to do that all over again. And then on the right side, you can see what we're now calling a final lap, not a hot lap, where they're going to follow that. They're going to trace that purple, making it all the way down to the first buoy that they went to, and then coming straight back. Now, the 5K individuals do the exact same course. They just don't do a second lap.
Yeah.
And I think if we can go to number 4 right now, it looks like we're getting really close.
Yeah, this could be
to the 10K racers. It looks like, John, who do we have going up first? Is this an all-female start here?
Yeah, this looks like the Open and Masters female for the 10K is what I'm seeing on the screen. Because you look to the far left, I see.
Let's do some name drops. Let's name as many people as we can here.
Well, on the far left, I see Kim Barnes, who's definitely one of the favorites in this race. She's won it many times and a world-class paddler. To the right of, sorry, guys, they're moving the camera around.
And luckily, they're all wearing red, so we can't differentiate at all other than...
there's Seychelle Webster bending down on her board right now. So Seychelle's obviously one of the top candidates. We got Maddie LeBlanc on the left of your screen. The names you're going to hear us say the most: Kim Barnes, Seychelle Webster, Stephanie Schidler, Maddie Miller, Maddie LeBlanc.
Seychelle's done a lot for the paddleboard, Lowcountry paddleboard over the years. I know a few years ago she spent a lot of time with children, training them, and really gracious with her time. Yeah,
she's a great coach and just a great overall ambassador of the sport, and also one of the favorites. So,
I think we got April out there as well.
Oh yeah,
April's definitely out there now. She is coming fresh off having a baby, so she's told us she is not in her perfect training condition yet. But
Casey's
she's making her way back.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, it changes things a little.
Public knowledge now, Casey.
This is the reason that the world champion, 3-time world champion, is not racing today.
Well, it's pretty interesting, and I know Seychelle knows well about it. Being a professional athlete, and then making that decision or it happening of getting pregnant, and then having your sport, your discipline, your training to be on hold or to be toned down, and really paying attention to your body and what that means, what's best for the situation. But it also, like, in the times where you get to slow down, one thing I heard when I first started trying to get faster when I started paddling is you got to slow down before you get faster. So, like now that I have to slow down, I can really focus like on my stroke and my form, like stroke by stroke, paying attention to that instead of just trying to go hard all the time. So, but it's really amazing to see so many athletes out here whether they're pro paddlers or amateurs, but being mothers and having gone through that, bouncing back and getting right back on board.
Yeah, well, cool.
I believe we're really
Let's go
close to the start.
Yeah,
here,
let's go to
guys.
5 as well, and we take a little different look. These are these individuals. They're all staging, and sometimes this isn't the most challenging part today, but it is challenging. They can't move in front of an imaginary buoy line. That's tough to see, and yet, it
There
looks
they
like here we
go.
go. We've got the start.
And
The
they're
start of
all
our female race is ready. It is kicking off as we go. Oh, what a beautiful shot
There
right
you
there.
go.
All right, so right now, these top paddlers, you can see on the bottom left of your screen right now, they're all trying to stay close to each other. They don't want to get lost in the back because they want to try to get on some version of a draft train, and they want to make sure that they stay up with the leaders in the pack here. So we're going to see, you can see right now, all 4 or 5 of them. Let's go back to, we lost that shot. You can see from the boat here, they're all trying to get moving. John, let's name some names here. You see Seychelles right in front?
Yeah, you see Seychelles right there. From that drone shot, the 5 girls you saw on the bottom left, there's Kim Barnes, Maddie LeBlanc, Maddie Miller, Seychelles, and Stephanie. It's the 5 girls we talked about. So those are the 5 we're going to be watching. And then, like you said, the rest of the field is going to probably file into their different draft trains. But that 5 right there, it's going to be really interesting to see how long do they stay together.
And you got the lead boat, and you have a couple of pontoon boats out there from outside Hilton Head. And those are for our spectators. And the shrimp boat, the big blue, beautiful shrimp boat there, also is cruising along with them, and it's got spectators aboard.
Yeah, these girls are going to absolutely form a draft train. I'm kind of surprised nobody's I think nobody really wants to lead at this point because nobody really wants to be the pace setter. You have somebody like Kim and Seychelles who are probably the top 2 favorites, let's face it. I mean, would you agree with that, Casey? With Stephanie Schidler obviously in that mix, I think the 2 Maddies would be very happy to hang on to this draft train of those 3 girls as long as they can.
Look at that, all 5 of them just paddling side by side like they're having a casual paddle.
Yeah, well, they're actually side drafting right now.
Like,
so,
hey, what are you guys doing? Let's hang out.
Yeah, they're actually, believe it or not, gaining an advantage right now by side drafting. So what I mean by that is that the girls in the rear quarter of the board are actually riding the wake of the girls in the front.
So it's fair to say Kim's pulling right now on the right side.
Yeah, technically. But if you look on the far left, that is Stephanie Schidler. And like I said, I don't think anybody really wants to lead at this point of the race because then you're doing the majority of the work.
And you can now see, we can even start to see a little bit of a train there. So as you're watching, if you're new to stand-up paddleboarding, just like in a peloton when they're doing Tour de France or any cycle race for that matter, if you are directly behind the person in front of you, and we're talking, the nose of your board is usually 2, 3, 4, 5 inches, maybe even behind the tail of the person in front of you, you're gaining what, 15%? You're gonna be able to get a little bit of help.
Yeah, well, it honestly also depends on board design.
There you go.
Certain boards are designed to draft well. I know that is probably one of our main features that we try to factor into our design is the drafting ability. But yes, you're correct, 15 to 20%, and it kind of trickles back. If you're towards the back of the draft train, man, you can hang there with a very low heart rate.
And we're gonna see same thing, just like a peloton. You're gonna see individuals who are gonna be switching places in that draft train. Certain individuals are gonna be moving forward and backwards throughout that entire draft train. So it's gonna be fun to watch, especially as they move around through these, their second lap and the final hot lap to see, who's switching places and who's leading.
Yeah, I know that it's starting to rain here pretty decent right now, so I'm not sure how long they're gonna be able to fly the drones, but. It's going to be great to see our first couple buoy turns because that is where you're going to start to see a little separation. Yeah. You can see these 5 girls they've already set the field. I mean, so.
Yep. And then you've got everybody else behind. We don't want to not give credit to every single paddler that's out here. There are some amazing paddlers out there. Maybe they're not at pro status, but they've been training for this race. And most of them have their peers that they're competing against at whatever speed that they're moving. That they're trying to get their name in the record book here for U.S. national championships this year in the long distance race.
You know, when we looked at the chart and we saw the race on the chart, it didn't look that long, but now as I look at it from the water view,
it's quite a
it's
ways.
taken a while to get down to the boathouse.
So there's a little draft train that was formed, okay? So you see the 3 women on the left. That's your second draft train, I guess. And it looks like, oh, gosh, I wish I knew who those paddlers were. I'd try to recognize them. But back to the competition, you know, yeah, these 5 girls are probably competing for the title of the distance champion. But all the other women, trust me, they all have their groups. They have their friends. They have their local race leagues. They know who they want to beat. So it's a great sport. And it looks like the men are.
Yeah, let's go to 4 right now. It looks like our men just started off. So this is a second. All of our races are a staggered start here. So here come the men that you're seeing blasting through. They're going to do the same thing and try to follow the lead of what the females have done so far.
And hopefully we'll get a shot of the lead pack. This is the second pack of the men coming through. From what I saw on screen, that's back to women. So from what I saw on screen, it looked like Bodie Von Allman, who is, you know, one of the top men in this race, he was fighting to get on that lead draft train. It looked like I caught a glimpse of Bodie. So he'll have to spike his heart rate now at the beginning to get on the train with those boys, but we should see that lead group of men forming a draft train like we talked about with the women.
All right, and it looks like if we go to 5 right now, we've got a new set of paddlers coming out here. This looks like maybe some masters.
Your prone paddlers.
There's
to
some
the right.
prone.
Yeah.
Is this our 5K start maybe that we're kicking off here? Or maybe these are masters and grandmasters?
I believe it's grandmasters with the prone.
There we go. Nice. Lots of staggered starts here today. There's going to be people all over this course. It's going to be phenomenal to watch as you're cheering on. If you're watching, you know, give us a hoot and a holler. Tell us where you're watching from. Let us know who you're cheering for. If you are here on site, make sure you share this live stream on USA SUP's YouTube page. Make sure you share it to your page and tell everybody where you're at, what you're doing, and who you're cheering for today.
Well, we want to give a big shout out to our organizer, our founder, Dr. John Batson with Spine Care, Lowcountry Spine and Sport in Hardyville. John started working when he was young at outside Hilton Head and fell in love with paddleboarding, and it really just enhanced and changed his life. And he's done so much for the community through the Outside Foundation. They have supplied, gotten kids into every kid in science program in Beaufort County now has been on the water. So it's teaching the children the love of being on the water, but also about the environment and protecting our waterways. So it's really an incredible thing that Dr. Batson has done.
Yeah, absolutely. Not just for the community here locally in Hilton Head, Monty, but our sport in general. John has been an amazing contribution to the sport. So John and Alice, you're not going to meet better people, and you're definitely not going to meet better stewards of our sport. So,
and the Outside Foundation, just a big shout out to them too. Great organization. I've seen Mike Overton grow in the community and part of the community. Yes, and and starting the foundation when he was just a little surf shop there at one time on the island.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to bring us back to this race because what you're seeing now, and this is incredible for me personally, but what you're seeing is the 2 lead men, Erie Tenario and Jake Portwood, taking the lead by themselves right now. Steve Miller just on the left of your screen in 3rd position, trying to catch these boys and stay on the draft. There's the nose of Bodie Von Allman, I believe.
Let's try to see that second men's pack if we can. Who's in? There we go.
There we go.
Let's try to pick out who's in this this chase pack.
So you have Bodie Von Allman right there sitting in 3rd place, followed by Steve Miller on the right of him. On the speed board, I'm not sure who that is. But
I mean, could that be Andrew Searles that's out there?
Oh, that is Andrew Searles. You're absolutely correct. And then Campbell Carter, followed by Blake Carmichael. So there's your chase pack trying to chase down Erie and Jake at this point.
So right now, what do they have? A 4 board length gap between these leaders here. And how bad does Bodie want to to catch up right now.
He needs to. I mean, it's at some point he's gonna have to get on that draft along with Miller and Campbell Carter and Andrew and Blake, or else if these guys can get a big enough gap.
Oh, look at this! They're like pinching in by the dock
is
here.
Actually,
So
very. Oh,
wow!
This is gonna cause some issues here.
All right,
Miller definitely has to make a move to get behind Bodie.
Wow, let's watch this.
Oh,
Okay,
my goodness.
You know,
that tight.
we usually say rubbing is racing sometimes, but we didn't mean the docks.
So what you have here is you have your men's 18 to 49 lead pack catching the rear of the female 18 to 49. So a lot of these ladies.
Oh my
that's
goodness.
Andrew Searles.
Andrew almost running into the dock there.
So
okay.
that really affects Campbell Carter at this point, because now Campbell is 2 board lengths behind Miller. So Campbell's going to have to spike his heart rate at this point to get on that draft train with Miller and Bodie.
And you can see he just broke that gap.
Yeah, so it looks like Campbell's trying to make his own move to the left to the buoy to get an inside turn on the buoy, but oh boy, this is some congestion at the buoy with some of the slower.
Wow, look at this! It's like bumper cars making their way. There's
Bodie Von Allman went really wide. Miller Campbell makes a very sharp inside turn, and now Blake Carmichael, yep, fell at the buoy. That's going to cost him. He's on a 20-inch wide board.
He's doing an alligator roll.
So that's going to take Blake out of that draft train. Man, if we could go back, because Campbell made a great buoy turn to close the gap to get on Miller's side draft.
Let's follow back up to those gentlemen and see what they're doing right now. See who ended where.
Yeah.
What an interesting line that they all took right there. A lot of people went really wide just to get wide on that traffic.
Get away from them.
Hey, listen, my last clinic with April Zilg really said, hey, if there's a lot of people at the buoy, just paddle around them. Don't get messed up in there. Just go right around them. So
and
maybe,
that's what Bodie Von Allman did. I don't know if you guys, I made the reference to it, but he went really wide and tried to stay clear. Campbell took a gamble and did a sharp inside buoy turn, and it paid off for, I think, both those guys. So it's going to be really interesting when we do get back to that lead men. Where are Steve Miller, Campbell, and Bodie?
So right now you are looking at the 5K. I believe this is the 5K start that's getting staged up right here. I definitely have to give a huge shout out to my wife Megan Sanoa, because I know she is out there. She was on kid duty yesterday, and now she gets to cut her teeth in the 5K, so I'm super excited to watch her a little bit out there and everybody else.
Yeah, and it looks like there's some kayak paddlers out there too, just your basic sea kayaks. It's a great thing about this race is it's open to all vessels. So if you look on your far right of your screen, you see a couple noses of some sea kayaks.
I know that's Cindy Marsh right there. She's a goat boater paddler as well. Just got started, and this is her first big race. She's pretty psyched to be out there.
Yeah, this is the community that I love the best. This is usually the race that I like to compete in. This is the heart of our sport, right? These are your everyday guys that are like, man, I'm going to beat you. And just there's a lot of personal battles in this 5K.
John, I want to talk to you a little bit about race strategy, because I know, like the night before the race or the morning of, everyone's trying to kind of figure out like, oh, what's the wind doing? What's the current doing? Should we hug an inside here? Should we take it outside? As we saw with the women, they stayed a little bit closer to the boat docks. The guys got really close. Do you think that's something that maybe they planned on trying to hug that side, or do you think maybe with the wind pushing a little bit? And did you hear any talk about that?
Did I hear talk? Oh my gosh. Well, you've stayed in the team house once or twice, and if somebody could be a fly on the wall in our house, that's all we talk about until somebody's like, all right, I'm going to bed. So yes, tons of strategy, especially, we like to consider ourselves at Flying Fish like a true team. So these guys do work together, to try to gain an advantage if they can. So yeah, there's different strategies about who's going to break into different draft trains, what lines should we take. Erie's just kind of a madman. He likes to just make his own line and do his own thing. It's not always the smartest choice sometimes, but, these guys definitely have strategy. So I don't think they planned on crossing the back of that women's pack at that lead buoy.
I don't think they saw that dock coming either from what it looked like.
Exactly.
They were all
so they're trying to jockey through all those slower, slower women.
Less fast.
Less
Lose
fast.
lose
less
faster,
fast
John.
women. Yeah, lose faster. Yeah, that just played a huge part of this race. That first buoy turn, there was a lot of shakeup on that lead draft train because now, like I said, drafting's huge. If you're not on the train, you're gone. If you're on the B train, you're done. You want to be on the A train.
I think that was a song. I'm going to take the A train.
All right, well, we're going to have the start here of the 5K any moment.
Yep, they were 15 minutes after the start of the individuals. It is 14 minutes and 50 seconds, so we can make an assumption. We can't hear them. We apologize, or we would try to tell you, but they've got it. There we go.
There's April right there.
Yep,
so
April is not on the course today.
Course.
They had some technical difficulties, and April is hanging with baby, cheering everybody on.
The 5K is off. There's Steve Phillips on the left of your screen. He's riding his Infinity Ever Ready. He was the sprint champion in the Grand Masters yesterday. So that's Steve Phillips. I know that name. There's Eli Miller on the left in the red jersey. She was she did really well in the women's sprints yesterday.
Yeah,
I'm super proud of Eli, but that's Eli Miller, so she would probably be the favorite in the female division, I would think, in this race. So, yeah, I recognize a few of these paddlers. Not from their backside, though. So
There we go. Like John said, this really is the heart of our community, quite honestly. I mean, the majority of the people here and out here are amazing paddlers. They're very fast, and they just love being in a group of individuals that have fun. And if you haven't been to a stand-up paddleboard race, we would really welcome you to come. It's not as scary as it might sound. There are so many individuals on the pier and on the dock with us just cheering everybody on, having a lot of fun. There's events that are going on before and after the race every single day. There's just a lot of camaraderie in this community along the entire coast. Whatever coast you're on, there's going to be a paddle group, or whether you're not on a coast, there's going to be a paddle group near you. Make sure you check out, find a way to find your local paddle group and go get connected.
We have paddlers from all over, don't we? I know Seychelles still in California, right?
We have paddlers from both coasts, and even some international paddlers out here.
Yeah, Seychelles is a Florida resident.
Florida now,
But there are a couple. Maylee Jaggy, who's a junior female. She came all the way from California to race. Obviously, Kristen Thomas is here. I believe, is she doing distance today, or is she working on the USA Sup stuff? I'm not sure, but yeah,
I think KT was out there. I think
Okay.
I think I saw a glimpse of her out there.
So we do have. Oh, she is in the 10K. So we have a range from all over the country. A lot of Midwest paddlers here I've seen. It's great coming to these events because you know people through social media, and you don't really get to meet them personally unless you meet at a race somewhere. So back to your community, Rob. I will go on a limb and say that this stand-up paddle community is probably one of the most welcoming communities I have ever been a part of. And I'm coming from a fishing background, and Casey comes from a baseball, and Casey comes from a skimboard background. And, those fishing and skim, like certain sports, like people are kind of like secretive, and they don't want to share their tips and their tricks and all this stuff. And in stand-up paddleboarding, I feel like everybody is just willing to help and share and cheer on the very last paddler. Like most of the time, if the very last distance paddler's coming in, you're going to hear the loudest cheers for that paddler. So.
If you're interested, you will find a friend, and you will find somebody that loves paddling and will gladly help you get to your next level. Okay, I think we're back to the lead pack of the men here, or at least the chase pack of the men, with Campbell Carter on that Infinity Ever Ready on your right side of the screen.
I can give you a really good breakdown of this screen if you don't mind, Rob.
Go ahead, break it.
So that's Bodie Von Allman all by himself out to the far right. Seychelle Webster is all by herself. So she is either leading or she is chasing the draft train. Then the second draft train is Campbell Carter, Andrew Searles, and Steve Miller. So I'm assuming Erie and Jake are still in a train together, working together. But that is your top 6 men and Seychelles. So if the camera or the drone can pan left, I don't know.
Let's
if they
pan
can
forward
hear
a
us,
little
or
bit
pan
and
forward.
and see if we can look at Bodie out there all by himself.
I see a wake there. So there's
Somebody's
paddlers
there.
close by. I don't know if it's the women's draft train or if it's Erie, but Seychelles by herself. So I don't know what.
Oh, there we
there's
go. Little buoy turn.
There's a turn.
Yeah, there's a turn. So there's Erie and Jake still together. Where are the other women? Seychelles could be all by herself in the lead.
So what would you say? Maybe a 8 to 10 board length gap between the first and second group here with the lead men.
Yeah, so here's where we were talking about making a move, right? So
Yeah.
Campbell just put a 2 board length lead on Andrew. Andrew had a weaker buoy turn. Now that hurts Steve Miller on the outside. Steve is now going to have to catch up to Campbell.
And he's going wide.
And he didn't have, it wasn't his fault, right? Like the paddler in front of him had a slower buoy turn. So, all right, I'm going to go on a limb and say Seychelles not leading, and not for anything particularly. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So if you're watching something fun to pay attention to, these individuals, when you're on a 14-foot board, turning something 14 feet long in the water is not exactly easy, and it's definitely not fast. So when they're going around these buoy turns, it really presents a new challenge for stand-up paddleboarders, where they're either going to do what's called a cross bow turn, or they're going to move into what we call a pivot turn, and they're going to walk on their board to the back of their board. They're going to try to get the front 7 feet of that 14-foot board out of the water in order to only have to turn 7 feet, which is a challenge. It's a balancing act. It's not an easy maneuver to do, especially on a very unstable, skinny board like they're all on.
Yeah.
So you're going to see that a lot here today when we're catching these buoy turns.
Yeah, absolutely. We just saw great drone footage right there. So there's your lead women up front. There's your top 4 women. So that's going to be Kim Barnes.
Yeah, let's
Seychelles,
take a look. Oh, look at that.
Top 5 women, sorry. So maybe that is Seychelles. I'm sorry. Maybe I was viewing another SIC that had a certain stroke. So I apologize.
Well, we know that we are watching your top women right here,
Okay, yes.
leading the way.
So that retracts everything I just said. So that
Scratch.
looks like, yeah, that's Stephanie Schidler pulling the train right now, followed by Seychelles Webster, Kim Barnes. I'm going to say the Maddies in the back. I don't know which Maddies which from this perspective, but I will go back to my statement about thinking that was Seychelles Webster. Clearly, whoever that woman was on the SIC learns from Seychelles, because she had a very good technique. Yeah, she had a great technique, and she looked like Seychelles. So
we're going to have a technical moment here, gentlemen. Let's enjoy this video,
great
because
right
you're going to
here.
lose sound on us for 1 second. We apologize. Hang with us. I was convinced.
yeah, like the back humping and everything. I was like, that's Seychelles? I can't, like. Man, Erie and Portwood, I can't.
There's Erie. There's Portwood.
Yeah, there's Portwood still with them. Miller got work
Let's,
at that.
if we have that boat in the shot later, let's talk about that boat.
Sure.
There's Bodie.
A little bit of a slow turn, but he's sitting in third.
Now they have to contend with the boat, which is it going in reverse right now.
Campbell with good clean turn. I want to see if Miller's closed that gap. Gosh, Miller should have known not to be behind Andrew though.
Where's Andrew from?
He's from Georgia. He's an
He's a
incredible
s-
sit down.
Yeah, he's like a canoe sprint.
He's a So that's a big gap to close to get back to Campbell.
What we doing here?
They had to switch some stuff up here.
It's like a 3 to 4 board length. Miller's in the 50 plus division though, so technically he's not competing with those guys. Unfortunately. For him, unfortunately.
Just mentally, he is.
Mentally he is. He's 51, so
Now he could have registered for Open.
he wanted to be the 51 champion.
Now you're talking. Smart. We saw that last year in Worlds, right? When he was, and he would have been overall champion.
Yeah, he's gonna do very well. He's an anomaly for sure.
Hey Matt, can we go to 5 at least on the screen right now?
Oh, that's a great shot of the women. Oh. Great shot.
Okay, they're right behind them. They're about to.
Finally about to close in on them.
Yeah.
Basically leading in.
That's footage around the buoys though.
See if Miller, a little. As long as he gets a good clean buoy turn, Campbell's gonna try to sprint out of this for sure. Wow. Yeah, Miller stayed on his tail.
He doesn't want to lose him.
He's like, I don't want to lose that tail. Come on, Miller, get back on there. Go catch that young man. You got 18 years old and 51 years old. Wow. Right? And there's Andrew Charles, and you'll probably see here his turn is going to be quite a bit slower.
I feel like.
Not far behind. They're doing great. I don't know who they are, so if somebody knows.
Bib number, although it's going to be on the wrong side.
Who is it? Meredith Stewart. Okay,
All
yeah,
right.
so she was at Smyrna. Yeah, she's doing great. I thought it was Seychelles, but then I was confused. Like, how is Seychelles by herself?
Yeah, that
like,
far back.
she's either that far back or she's leading. Yeah, there's Blake. Again, Blake.
Oh, are they right here?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, humans.
We can talk about him because he's brand new to paddling, and he signs up for the crossing as his first event and wins it. And then he did last paddler standing and won it. So he's an endurance guy
Yeah,
for sure.
Totally.
There's your next wave of men, right? So there's Steve Bernstein, he's your other 50 plus. That's Christian Anderson, or Christian Sanchez rather. Rachel Cantori, local girl. Nathan Champion.
Yeah, Nathan, where you go?
Matt Jones from Seattle.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Now he's here local now.
Oh yeah, he's Charleston. That's
Yeah.
right. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. And that's oh gosh, I know his Instagram name. British Fox. And Jake Lindley from Maine. So that's interesting. It's good to see all these
Jake
people
Lindley
here,
did
yeah.
great yesterday in the sprints, right?
So when they get facial recognition for live streaming, that's gonna make
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, there's Tony Barone.
One, two, three. Okay, hey, welcome back. We hope you
right.
were enjoying that video coverage. Just so you know, we have been having fun commentating with ourselves.
Yeah.
And boy, we saw some amazing buoy turns happening right now and some nice slight lead changes going on. John, why don't you fill us in on where we're at right now?
Okay, let me see. As memory serves me correct, what we're seeing on the screen right now, well, what we were just seeing
Some
on the
boats.
screen was
The new
Campbell.
T-shirts.
Let's go to 5.
What we were just seeing on the screen was Campbell Carter and Steve Miller. They're sitting in the 4th and 5th position right now. Your top 3 men currently, as we know from what we were watching while we were away. Erie Tenara and Jake Portwood are still working together in the lead. Bodie Von Allman is probably 4 to 5 board lengths behind them. There you go. There's, oh, sorry guys. Bodie Von Allman is still trying to catch on to those first 2 guys, followed by Campbell Carter and Steve Miller. In the women's, we saw all 5 women are still in a very tight draft train. So if memory serves me correct, we had Stephanie Schidler
There's
pulling the
Rob
train.
Moran right there, an Infinity Speed Freak there.
Yeah, and 2nd place was Seychelles, 3rd place Kim Barnes, followed by the two Maddies behind in 4th and 5th. So the women are still in a very tight draft train, the last we saw. So that kind of gives you up to date on the top 5 women and the top 5 men.
So right now we are roughly 30 minutes into the start of the 10K race. They are rounding the buoy back closest to the dock where they started. They are essentially done with lap 1, and they are now moving into lap 2. We have seen lots of traffic on the race course here today with individuals moving through, individuals who are losing faster, and should be very fun to see how this second lap shapes up.
Yeah, what we're watching here is a lot of the 5K, and no, maybe not 5K, sorry, 10K paddlers making their buoy turn. Here's junior paddler Mason Kober. Oh, we just lost him on the screen, but anyway, sorry.
All right, somebody took
went
a little
swimming
swim.
too, yeah. Mason is one of the junior paddlers, 15 years old, from Wrightsville Beach. You catch him on your screen right there, and not him, but anyway, we have 2 juniors competing. We need to get more kids out here. Miley Jaggy from California in the girls division, and Mason Kober in the boys.
Should be pretty great. Hopefully, Mason will be able to represent Team USA in the junior division if he stays in there this year, right? Which I think he's planning to do.
Yeah, absolutely. He's planning on being there, and he's got the great family support that we talked about. It's so important for kids nowadays, and his mom and dad are wonderful support crew. So we'll see Mason at ICFs.
I think that was Karen Redmond as well that we just saw in the 10K. All right, we're going to catch up to one of our lead groups here as you're flying through the air with us. Again, we are at the USA SUP National Champions at the OluKai Paddle Battle in Hilton Head, South Carolina, and just really having a great day in the rain. That's what we're doing right now. Let's see who we've got in front of us.
Well, I can tell you right now from the draft train, Seychelles is taking the lead, so she's pulling for a while. These girls are working together, so like I said, nobody wanted to take the draft at the beginning, but they're communicating at this point. You know, they're asking one another to switch and take the lead to give everybody a rest. So they're all playing fair at this point. Lap 1, it's going to stay like this. In the men's division, you can see there, Campbell Carter and Steve Miller have a lot of work ahead of them if they want to get in that 3rd position. Right now, it's a big gap between Campbell and Bodie. There's Bodie passing the dock now.
And there's this.
And they are on the and they're on the right of the screen. So, there's your draft train for the women.
This is where they were coming in tight to the dock, and the men got caught up in this.
Yeah, if we can pan forward, we're going to see how much work Bodie has to get on Jake and Erie. So they're panning there. Let's see. There you go. Bodie's about 5 to 10, 5, 6, 8 board lengths. He's got a lot of work cut out too. So it's going to be interesting to see how long Jake Portwood can stay with Erie Tenorio.
Yeah.
Erie is clearly the favorite, world-class paddler, probably definitely one of the top 10 in the world. So Bodie's got his work cut out for him. And that's Bodie making a really clean buoy turn like you talked about, Rob, earlier. That is a walk to the tail, what we would call a true buoy turn. And then here we're seeing a crossover bow like you talked about. So
and Bodie's just out on his own. I think he might be running the rest of this course just on his own. He's not going to get any help.
Yeah, so
here we go.
This is great footage of the women's draft train. They're going to want to stay tight. Let's see if anything shakes up. Maddie Miller is the last one around the buoy, and then you got Campbell and Steve closing in.
Boy, does Campbell
This is great drone
turns,
footage.
right?
This is great footage of this race right here. So there's Campbell and Steve. You can see Steve.
Look at Steve's cadence
Yeah,
right
you
there.
can see Steve's cadence. He wants to get back on that draft. He needs to get about he just got to get over the hump. There he goes. He's in it. So anyway, guys, this is the textbook racing right here. You're getting to watch it, and it's incredible footage. I've watched lots of live feeds, and this is some of the best I've seen. So kudos to you guys on the camera crew.
Nice work, Fire Tower Media and
Miller's,
Joel.
Okay, let's talk real quick. Miller,
There's some bumps right there.
Yeah, there's some boat wakes coming. So Miller is trying to take advantage of those boat wakes to see if he can get ahead of Campbell.
Those are some big.
And Campbell's also trying to milk them. So that's what you have happening right there. And look, it
Look at the
broke
breakup.
up the women's.
Yep.
Kim and Seychelles
just
made
They just picked up like a 10 board length lead
Absolutely.
on
so
the other three with those waves.
Stephanie Schidler and the Maddies have a lot of work now. So
Yeah.
we just watched a huge part of the race right there.
So Casey, what do you think is going through the second women's pack right now that they just got lost? They were in the draft train. Where's their heart rate going right now?
Yeah, I know that they are definitely trying to catch back up and get back on that train. Right now, I see Steph just probably trying to work as hard as she can, knowing that she'll get to rest a little bit once she catches back up to Kim. And then the two Maddies behind, just trying to stay with Steph as well. Putting all that work in to catch up back to that draft train. It's totally worth it. It's really hard, especially, they've already done a lap. They've worked hard this whole race so far. So really just trying to stay calm, yet catch back up as fast as you can, because that's, kind of going to make or break your race where you're at, where you finish.
And that's a fine line, right, of how much gas do you have in the tank to essentially sprint in the middle of your 10K to make up that gap and be able to rest again versus you sprint too hard. And if you just didn't have enough in reserve, now all of a sudden you've gassed yourself and lactic acid's built up and then you can't complete your race.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is why these athletes do so much interval training, because that's basically what Stephanie Schidler just had to do, was a spike of her heart rate. She's back on the draft train, and if I was getting ready to say, and I didn't want to interrupt Casey, but if there's anybody I know that can catch back up to that draft train, it's Stephanie Schidler. She is one of the strongest paddlers when she's by herself that I know.
And it looked like she broke off from the second
she now
group.
dropped. Yeah, so now the two Maddies have to work together. So that the women's race just took its break right there. So now you're going to have Seychelle, Kim, and Stephanie in the lead, and the two Maddies are going to have to try to work together. There's Erie and Jake still working together. I know that Jake is stoked to still be there with Erie's tail. So poor Bodie Van Almen at this point. What might happen at some point is Bodie may have to just concede at some point and get back with Campbell and Steve and see if the three can't work together. But knowing Bodie, he's young, he's tough.
He's just going to go at it.
He's just going to have to go at it and try to hold off Campbell, who's also young and tough, and Miller, who's old and tough. So it's going to be a fun race to watch. And I don't know, sorry to interrupt you again, but during that last screenshot, did you notice Campbell and Miller separated totally? They went on either side of the women's.
To pick up those waves.
So they are trying to. So it's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out, if they do form back together and who's in the lead, or did somebody drop somebody.
So if you're looking at the race course right now on the left side, these 10K paddlers, they on the left side of your screen at the very top buoy in the top right corner, they just made that buoy turn and they are coming back around. They're halfway through their second lap of this course. The first lap took them about 30 minutes. They're halfway through their second lap before they then move over to the right side of your screen doing that final hot lap. Let's see if we can catch back up to our paddlers here.
And also they were entering the down current side because we have an incoming tide right now.
We got about another hour,
so
about a half hour or so for the tide coming in.
Yeah, so if you think of it this way as well, when you're competing, and an old friend of mine, Billy Sweezy, was the one who taught me this. He said, if you could be the first one to that buoy that switches the current, the gap you can put on somebody as they're still fighting their way up current and you're going down current, boy, it's discouraging for that paddler who's still going up current. So Erie and Jake made that turn first. Another break for Bodie where he has to now fight the current until he makes the turn.
That's a cool part in the strategy, right?
Yeah, there's a
having
lot of
having that in your head.
100%.
That's like runners who train to sprint up a hill while everybody is struggling.
1,000%.
And gain a lead in those precarious spots.
Yeah.
Okay, you're seeing some of our 5K, 10K surf ski prone paddlers here, all in their own race, in their own heads right now, making their way around the course and just enjoying this beautiful rainy day here in Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Yeah, I would have to say the camera crew really get some kudos for broadcasting in this rain, because this is tough conditions.
They've told us they can't run drones in the rain, and you've been watching drone footage in the rain. So good shout out to them. They might be going home crying when their equipment doesn't work anymore, but we are ever grateful for them risking all their equipment on the line here today.
Yeah, you're seeing some surf ski paddlers there. Looks like maybe even a tandem surf ski, or are they just side by side? So what do you think so far, Monty?
Oh, this is incredible. This is my 6th year of watching this and being a part of it, but this is the first year that we've streamed, and thank USA SUP for being here and being part of this, and we've got an actual race, national race going on, and to be able to see this, because I had just one point of view from the dock before, but now we have these cameras, and we can see the turns and the end of the race course, and it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you're getting to experience this, because we really are getting to see a really good inside look at what competitive racing looks like. There's a prone paddler. So it's going to be interesting to see where we're at with our top 5 men's and women's as soon as we can get some coverage back of them. They're at the farthest point of the race course right now, so they're going to be coming here close to the dock soon for some close-ups of the buoy turn here by the dock.
There's no doubt these races would not be possible without all the amazing sponsors that we have here today. Monty, you got a shout out for somebody, yeah?
Yeah, well, of course, we talked about Dr. John Batson, Northeast reps. Hello to Larry Goldstein from New York State, one of our Northeast regional reps, and board members not attending. A shout out to board secretary Gail Katowski. She's home waiting for a new grandbaby to arrive, so we're waiting to hear about that. Got a lot of babies around here. Southeast regional reps also, hey to them, what a beautiful part of the country. We are excited to be here and excited that all 3 regional reps are here for the Nationals. And our program director, we want to say a shout out to from Colorado, Anna. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll get through our sponsors. There are so many of them, too. Our local sponsors that participate, Hilton Head Properties, Realty, of course, Dr. John Batson's, and my screen just went off of the sponsors. So
all right, we got a little split screen there. We love that. Let's go back to that. That was fantastic.
Look
we
at
can
that.
see
Yeah.
a little bit of the close-up action of these buoy turns, and we got a drone going again in the rain. Maybe it's coming back to the dock here. Let's see what's happening. That's us on the pier. Welcome. We're shouting out from the tents. That's the flat dock right there. Those individuals going around the turn. A lot of really great stuff happening out here. A lot of people on the dock. I wouldn't say the energy is palpable right now because it's raining, but there's a lot of energy out here under the tents as everybody is having a blast, watching the action going on.
And we saw that flat floating pier there. A shout out to Captain Lee Edwards. He was a member of town council. His company, The Greenery, a sponsor today, but he was instrumental in getting this dock put in.
Oh, that's great. We just watched Eli Miller take her buoy turn there. She's in the 5K race, so not sure what position she's in, but these are some of your 5K paddlers making this turn. So that was a textbook turn there by Maddie. I mean, by not Maddie, her mom, Eli.
So you can watch some of these paddlers right here. When they're paddling, if they step back with their left foot, they usually turn better to the right. If they're used to stepping back with their right foot, they turn a little bit better to the left. And that plays a role, especially in a race like this where you have a couple more buoy turns to the left as opposed to the right, that some people have just a smidge of an advantage by having their stronger buoy turn.
Yeah, absolutely. We call it regular footed or goofy footed, but I know in particular Jake Portwood's a goofy footer, right? So his left-hand turns are his weak side, and Erie is a regular footer, so the left-hand turns benefit him, and it is primarily lefts.
Yeah.
So let's face it, this course does benefit a regular footer, not a goofy footer.
John, let me ask you a question. With like these top paddlers, whether it's Erie or Portwood, Seychelles, Kim, doing these buoy turns, typically backside is easier, right, around the turn. But I know some paddlers can go backside both ways. Is that what these top paddlers are doing, or do you see a mix of it?
You definitely see a mix of it. They make it look so smooth whether it's front side or back side. A lot of them do use a cross bow, like on cue right there. We're watching a cross bow by one of these athletes, but they just do it so quick and smooth, you know. So they're really efficient both directions. But let's face it, I mean, a backside turn is just a hair faster, you know. So it still gives a slight advantage to the regular footer. Kim Barnes is a goofy footer. Not sure what Seychelles Webster is.
And I feel like that's a regular argument in this profession a little bit, of individuals who would make the argument you should learn to step back with both feet and really go the extra edge to learn that back foot step to go left and right. And I would say at least 50%, if not more, would say there is no reason you should be stepping back with your weak foot. Just learn to do that toe side turn. So it seems pretty split to me for some of the top professionals, what their argument would be in that discussion.
Yeah, I can tell you right now that the world's #1 paddler, Shrimpy, out in Japan, he switches feet. So he's one of the best I've ever seen at buoy turning, and he, like you said, he switches feet. So everything's backside for him.
But I would say in general, he maybe is more of the rarity.
Oh, he's definitely the rarity.
To pull that style off, whereas
absolutely.
most people are going to just perfect their toe side turn.
But somebody like a Connor Baxter, for example, he is so good at a front side turn that Connor Baxter is probably faster than most people.
As a matter of fact, let's bring April Zogan right here. Come on, April Zo, come on over here.
Here, take my chair.
Oh, she wants to talk about buoy turns, huh?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is something I know April has an opinion on. I've heard it once before.
Well, if I can't be buoy turning myself, then I better be talking
about it.
Yeah.
Let's introduce who's in front of you as well.
Oh, hi, everyone. This is Blaze.
Hey, Blaze.
Yeah, like the mathematician, Blaise Pascal. Yeah.
Very
Not
cool.
like blazing saddles or anything
Well,
like
he
that.
could be all the above.
No, so I'm of the school of thought. I don't want to waste my time putting my weak foot back, just so you know. I watched Connor Baxter always do his strong foot back, do the over the bow, kind of cross nose draw is the technical term for it. And he turns just as fast as somebody who has practiced and perfected the non-dominant foot back.
Yeah. April's in that camp. Step back with your dominant foot, leave it alone.
Yeah, I mean, which is the majority of racers. I mean, it's definitely the majority. It's rare to find someone who is ambidextrous fully enough. Or
I'm going
to
give a shout out to Andrea Robb, who is making that turn at the buoy right there. That's one of our goat boater paddlers.
And
then let's check out 7 now. Let's see where we're at 7.
No. Well, we just saw a brief moment of the lead guys, and it was still Erie and Jake together. So we did. There you go. It's hard to tell on this drone footage, but we did catch a glimpse of them. And so the question is going to be, how far behind is Bodie Von Allman? We'll have to see if he's closed the gap some, or if Campbell and Steve have closed the gap on Bodie. So that third position, and it's a huge position right now, when you're dealing with top 3 overall.
John, I got to interrupt because this is my wife Megan right
gosh,
here.
Absolutely.
Listen, the goat boater
Let's
herself.
watch this technique.
Hey,
Let's see it.
Okay, cross bow Megan. Here we go on her Infinity Blackfish right now.
Beautifully smooth.
She's excited to be out there, and I think she's more excited that she just gets a little bit of a break and does what she loves to do, getting out there paddling. And go get it, honey. You got it.
Oh, that
5K specialist.
Great footage there. Oh.
Where were so I have missed. I missed the buoy turn for the women coming in. So they're already on their final long lap, and now they only have one short lap left. Is that correct?
I don't know if they're on their hot lap yet because we're seeing this is some of the gentlemen
starting their second lap.
Yeah, starting their second.
Yeah.
They're starting the hot lap now.
No, starting their No, they've already been around this buoy twice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh wow.
We're 48 minutes in now.
These guys are fast. Holy cow, these times are fast.
If you blink, you're gonna miss it.
I believe Erie and Jake are gonna break an hour then, if that's the case.
I think so.
Yeah, so I think the gentlemen are just starting their hot lap. They've got 2 laps in.
Here we go.
Let's go to 5.
Oh, here comes some of the ladies.
Seychelles turning
Yep,
the
into
buoy
that
with
hot
Kim
lap.
right behind her. Stephanie
Yeah, there's your 3 women still together. So Stephanie, as you can see, she had to work her tail off to get back to those girls.
But they broke the 2 Maddies.
Yeah, there's the 2 Maddies now. So.
But they're young, and they have some energy left in the tank, as we discovered yesterday.
You see Maddie LeBlanc struggling a little bit, little wobbles. There you go. Now she's got to close the gap to Maddie Miller. This is great footage that we're seeing, guys, because you really do get to see the strategy at the buoys. And I said earlier in the broadcast, in the distance race, I told you it was going to happen at the buoys, and that's exactly what we're seeing.
Yeah.
April, I know that you mentioned them being young, but you know, it seems like the younger paddlers don't always have the advantage because everyone that's a little bit older, I don't know, maybe it's the experience, but those with you know, more experience or age, it seems like they're all kicking butt.
Absolutely. It's a little bit to do with experience, but it's a little bit to do with metabolic systems. You'll see typically younger athletes prevail in sprinting and technical racing, and as women age, we do become endurance machines. So even if you started life as a sprinter, you can have a nice retirement career as an endurance athlete. And you know, all the studies coming out right now about women in endurance sports is that like we can age and just get faster and longer, you know. So
yeah, that's a great explanation of it. And speaking of age, I mean, you look at the top 3 women, and this is what Casey was hinting at. Kim Barnes is 47 years old, soon to be 48, I believe, if I'm correct. Stephanie Schindler is 48.
Oh, look at that. Oh, we're on 5. Let's go to 5. We just saw somebody's nose go between somebody's leg, and they stepped right over it.
But
it's
it was
phenomenal.
clean.
Yeah, it's clean. We love it.
And, you know, Stephanie Schindler's 48 years old. And I believe Seychelles mid-30s?
I believe we're the same age. So it's my birthday. It's,
happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, April. How about that?
So there you go.
We'll sing a race for my birthday.
We'll sing some birthday songs
And tomorrow
later.
we have 2 birthdays for the Millers. Maddie and Steve Miller were born on the same day.
Shut up,
that's
pretty
share
cool.
a birthday.
How about that? You know, I'm going to give a shout out to my wife, and my anniversary was a couple days ago, so I don't get in too much
Jeez,
trouble.
We're getting all of it in
Hey,
here.
happy
Casey,
9
do you have
years.
anything to celebrate?
Yeah.
In 10 weeks.
10
Oh,
weeks. I
baby
love
on
it.
the way.
Yeah, Maddie LeBlanc, or Maddie Miller, which is hard for me to believe, is going to be 24 years old, April.
That is. I can't believe it.
It's really hard to believe because she was,
I remember when she was 14.
yeah, 14 years old when she entered the sport and really did well as a young teenager. It was an incredible story.
Here's some of our other fast paddlers. Matt Jones right there on that purple board.
Followed by Steve Bernstein and Eric Carter. So
These are all fast paddlers that are kind of right in the middle of the pack right now.
And that's your 50-plus second and
Yeah,
third.
there's Eric Carter. I see with number 24 on the leg.
And Steve Bernstein right in front of him. So those guys are both 50-plus. So you got Miller in the lead at 50-plus, Steve Bernstein second 50-plus, and Eric Carter third, which is kind of how we expected. That's how the sprints played out as well. So all 3 of those guys are amazing athletes, especially at 51 years old. And I speak from experience because I'm 51 myself.
Oh, look at that little happy birthday shout out, April.
Yes.
Look at that.
That's really funny.
Way to go, graphics team.
Hey, that's fast.
That is really good, guys.
You know, it talk nothing but the best. Nothing but the best here from Fire Tower Media.
This is a very professional event here.
This has been.
I just want to know what is that sailboat that's half underwater there?
Yeah.
We need
It's
Monty
an
to
obstacle on the course.
give us some.
There's Mason Cobra doing a buoy turn. Oh, sorry, that was Mason, one of our junior paddlers. We really want to try to give as many shout outs to the juniors as possible because we really need the juniors to grow this sport. So,
If you
trying to
are a
get this thing
junior
on
and you're
board.
paddling, make sure get your kids out to some of these races because they absolutely could be making their way to world championships here because we're just kind of shy on those junior humans, and we need them to come keep this sport alive and well. And as we start getting older and slower, when we get to the Grandmasters division, of course, that's maybe when we start to slow down, that they can come on up.
Can't quite tell, but in camera 5, it looks like some women coming straight towards the camera with
Okay.
gusto.
yeah.
And that hot lap's going to be really short.
It should be
It's gonna
short.
sneak up on us.
Maybe
I think we might be seeing the finish here really soon.
Yeah, I think definitely with Erie and Jake. I mean, if that was the start of the hot lap, they turned that buoy 5 minutes ago or more. So
Yeah.
these guys are
Yeah,
going to be coming. We're going to have a
What are we
finish.
seeing?
Let's see.
We're going to have a finish really soon here.
Yeah, again, don't blink.
Yeah. One of the fastest 10K races. I'm curious to hear on the watches if it was a true 10K or not, because if it is, and these guys are doing it in under an hour, we're starting to see how this sport has really advanced. Because
I mean, when you're in the women's division, I can speak from experience. My goal is always to hold 6 miles an hour.
yeah,
And that's in a 12-mile race. So if this is even shorter, like this is only 6 miles, it's half that, stands to reason that we're going to try to hold maybe a 6.1, 6.2. So if you're going in the women's division, 6 1/4,
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be a sub-hour
right.
for a 10K.
Right, and an athlete like Erie Tenorio is more in that 6'5", 6'6" range for an average. So, yeah, I guess it does make sense why they're going to be under an hour, but it seems like it's just gone by with a blink. But we are going to see a finish here, I believe, in the next 10 minutes.
These 10K paddlers are now 55 minutes into their race. Yeah, holding on to it. Nice job.
I do. I love the camera on the dock buoy right here with all the carnage.
Look at this back and forth traffic right here. This is where it's going to get dicey of some of the other paddlers going
Yeah.
out for their hot lap or second lap, and some of these individuals, this looks like we're probably seeing the lead surf ski maybe, and those guys coming in from their 10K. They should be in front.
Yeah, it
They
could
started 15 minutes
It
before.
could get interesting, if we get down to a tight finish. We hope there's no carnage or interference with some of the other paddlers. So,
Yeah, could be exciting.
On your screen there is local paddler Rachel Cantori. I'm pretty confident of that.
That is Rachel. Shout
Yeah,
out to
there you
Rachel.
go. So she's a good ambassador of the sport.
Oh, and there's Mei Lee on her 404.
That is Maylee. There's your other junior paddler there, all the way from California.
And we've got some surf ski guys coming across the finish line. Huge shout out to all those individuals. We apologize, we can't see on camera right now, but they are just as important to be out here, and we are excited that they just went and crushed it. I don't know their exact time, but boy, those move fast. How fast do surf skis move?
Oh, goodness. So we're easily moving anywhere from 7 to 8 miles an hour.
Definitely the faster craft.
Yes.
You
The
can-
fastest outriggers are almost as fast
You
as some
can-
of the faster surf
You can
skis.
be a fast stand-up paddleboarder, but stand-up paddling notoriously is a slow craft to be on.
It is a very high resistance craft. It is. You'll get your workout, that's for sure. I think I read somewhere that paddling for about 30 minutes burns as many calories as jogging for over 6 miles.
Wow. The only thing slower than a stand-up paddleboard is floating on a river
Yeah.
raft.
If we can get
That's
a
it.
finish line camera, I'm not sure if we have one set up yet, but I know there is some surf ski paddlers coming in, so you guys can see the craft we're talking about. As a board designer, we're all trying to create the fastest, most efficient crafts we can, and the issue with stand-up paddleboarding is you have to be able to stand on them. So
Right.
it kind of makes it interesting. A lot different than
So,
a
you,
sit-down
so you're not going to
craft.
make a 12-inch wide board, John? Is that what you're saying? That's
I mean, I've made up to a 19. That's as narrow as we've gone.
Yeah.
But
scary.
So
We got a quick shout out to the course design. It is so nice to have a turn right here at our dock, and I noticed all along the route there's great viewing advantages there, vantage points.
yeah, a lot of distance races, the spectators really don't get to view it.
Right.
The paddlers take off, your family members take off, and then you wait a couple hours.
You
and-
take a nap,
and you watch
and
them
then
come
you watch
back.
the
So
finish.
this one's been great for the spectators for sure.
All right. As soon as we can, we're going to be trying to get you our leaders that have to be coming close.
Yeah,
There's-
here comes a surf ski
There we
paddler on
go.
your screen. There's one of your top finishers, maybe even the top finisher. So a surf ski is a kayak, a kayak, meaning they use 2 paddles, 2 blades, and a canoe uses 1 blade, uses a paddle, a single blade paddle. So that was an example of a surf ski. All right, this is going to be exciting here any minute. And I'm just going to go ahead and apologize in advance if I get kind of excited, because when my team riders do well, I take it personally. These guys are all like family to me. Sons,
Yeah.
daughters,
Yep.
brothers, sisters, you understand?
I understand completely.
So, I'll
Let
try
the
to
excitement
I'll
roll.
try to compose myself, and I
Don't
think
do it.
I think I've done a pretty good job of announcing, biasly or non-biasly, I guess rather. Here's another surf ski paddler finishing across line, finishing across the line. I don't know names of these paddlers, but congratulations, guys.
Yeah.
And this is good footage we're getting to see here.
These are sleek kayaks.
Another surf ski paddler coming in from their distance race. So, yeah, I mean, these guys did an 8 to 9 mile course, and they're wrapping it up now. So, you can tell, very fast craft. Actually, looks like maybe our first female paddler.
And these are the ones that went around Pinckney Island?
Yes, they're the ones that went around Pinckney Island. And
fantastic.
we should see some stand-up paddlers. We should get some footage of them soon coming to the finish. We're entering an hour or maybe 50 minutes right now. There's young junior Mason Kober coming to the buoy turn now, getting ready to start his hot lap. Mason did great yesterday in sprints as well as Maley as a junior. I mean, they competed with the open division and competed well. So shout out to those junior paddlers. They're really, both of them are strong young paddlers.
Tell us a little about the program tomorrow.
Tomorrow's race is a technical race, as we're all well aware of. It's going to be a series of these buoy turns that you're seeing on screen, but it's going to be in the ocean.
Yep.
And I believe there's 3 buoy turns. Here we go. This is our leader now. It all makes sense to me. Erie Tenorio finally decided to make his move. We are seeing the men's 10K winner coming across the finish line any moment. Erie Tenorio. No surprise there, honestly, for most paddlers. But you can see Erie decided to break Jake. He said, I love you, brother, but I got to take this on my own. So that's Erie. He's about less than 200 meters, right? Or no, that's a different dock. So
I think they're on their way back now.
Okay,
they
so
probably just finished their hot lap or the first half of their last lap, and now they're coming back our way.
Oh, so he still has a quarter mile to go or so, or I don't know where that buoy was. Okay, sorry. I thought he was crossing this dock here, so my apologies. But that's your clear men's leader right there. And you can see him passing these other 5K paddlers.
Oh, there we go. There's our boat. He's
yeah,
a
there
blue
you
boat.
go. So he's about 250 meters away at this point. But you can see his technique, his cadence, his speed versus some of these other paddlers. Like I mentioned earlier, Erie is one of the top paddlers in the world. We are very blessed to have him on our flying fish boards. He's riding a Freedom Dugout 21.75, which is not a super narrow board, but he prefers to ride one board no matter what the conditions are. So that is your men's leader, no doubt. So that's exciting. Now we're going to see how it shakes out between Jake Portwood and Bodie Von Allman, Campbell Carter, and Steve Miller. So let's see what happens here. As those guys, as those guys are not going to be far behind Erie. I mean, just within a few minutes. So, all right, Erie Tenorio. We should start hearing some cheers on the dock, I hope.
All right, this is your men's first stand-up paddler coming in for his 10K finish.
Yes, and also yesterday's sprint winner by a dominant performance.
Getting
as well,
close to, he's got a two-peat going on. We'll see if he can be the overall winner with the tech race tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's our dock.
Yep, there we are, and that's Erie Tenorio. Let's hear it. Congratulations, Erie.
Nice work, Erie. He came in at 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 10 seconds.
Okay, so he didn't break an hour. I was wondering there for a while. That was still a great performance. We have some more paddlers.
These are some of our 5K paddlers that are also finishing simultaneously.
That's what I'm guessing. That's a 5K finisher there. We're going to see where Jake Portwood or Bodie Von Allman. We really haven't had a camera shot lately of the men. So, oh, here comes. Nope, that's not Jake either. That's
Jake's already here.
Jake just went by, so we didn't have that. So Jake. Here he comes.
There
Here comes Jake across the finish line now.
There we go.
Jake Portwood, second place.
And is that Eli right there as well?
And Eli Miller, another
with her 5K
finish. So
nice job, Eli Miller, on the 5K.
And Bodie Von Allman. So there's your top 3 men. Come on, Bodie. You know, Bodie had his work cut out from him. You know,
He did a nice solo paddle today.
Yeah, he did. Once he lost that lead draft train, he was able to break Campbell Carter and Steve Miller, but he really had an uphill battle the whole way. So
huge shout out to all these paddlers coming across the finish line. If you're seeing them, guys, we're on the backside. We can't see their bibs at all, and we apologize for not calling out their names. We surely would. But if you know who that is, make sure you shout it out in the comments if that's somebody that you're rooting for, and give them a holler and congratulations for completing their race.
I'm sorry to interrupt
There's
you,
Campbell.
Rob, but here's Campbell and Steve. So this is going to be a personal battle, and I know that Campbell wants to get this 4th position. I'm not sure if he's ever beat Steve in a distance race. I don't believe he has. So this is a huge accomplishment for both these guys. Remember, Steve is 50+, so he's going to win the 50+ division, but he's racing for pride right now. Great job, Campbell Carter.
And it's fair to say, I think Campbell pretty much led most of the race, at least that we saw, right?
Yeah. So there's Steve on the right of the screen,
There we
Campbell on
go.
the left. So Campbell Carter in the 4th position, Steve Miller in the 5th position. Great job,
Nice
guys.
work. Nice work.
So now
There we
we
go.
got the women. That's what's left.
Tapping paddles.
Yeah. Hey, Casey, do you want to try to make a prediction on these women? I mean, we haven't seen them on screen in a while. Are you even going to dare play that game?
Well, yeah, that's a tough one. You know, the last we saw Seychelles, Kim, and Steph. So I'm sure they're all trying to hold that position for as long as they could until, as we're getting closer to the finish here, giving it all they got to break away and try to get one position ahead. Or even, just try to break off, do their own thing, sprint to the finish. So we'll see how they come in. But I believe those 3 will be very close.
You're looking on your screen right there. It looks like Seychelles might have pulled away from Kim Barnes. I believe that is Seychelles you're seeing on your screen. And Kim is a couple board lengths back. So it looks like, and I can't tell where they are on the course, but they're coming up to the turn buoy.
Yeah, they're halfway through.
So
their
right
last
here it
lap.
is.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, this is
This is They're approaching the dock, so
There we
it
go.
looks like it's going to be Seychelles is going to take the distance.
Yeah,
There
we
she
go.
is. Congratulations, Seychelles. So that's how it shook out. They broke up the draft train. I was actually getting ready to say, if it comes down to a sprint at the end, Seychelles probably does have the advantage as a sprinter.
Yeah, there you go. Seychelles,
She
your-
is stoked.
Your
Jump off
first
the board.
place.
Woo! And there's Kim Barnes and Stephanie Schindler, respectively taking 2nd and 3rd. Great job, ladies.
They're coming in at 1 hour and 7 minutes.
Wow.
That's fast.
You can say Shell.
Great job by
Suck
those
and win.
ladies right there. I know Seychelles definitely wanted to perform well today. Yesterday she finished 2nd in sprints. So this puts her right back into that contention of winning the overall, right? So
Yeah.
you had 2nd in sprints and 1st in distance. So
Yeah.
Kim Barnes is sitting in a 3rd in sprints and 2nd in distance. And then Maddie Miller, 1st in sprints and maybe
4 or 5.
fourth
Let's see if we
or
can
fifth.
see the
Yeah,
females
here they
coming.
come.
There they are. There's the
The
there's
2
the Maddies.
Maddies.
Battling it out.
Battling it out as expected, the 2 Maddies.
Shout out to number 41 there, completing his 5K
Here
race.
come your 4th and 5th place women's. Looks like Maddie LeBlanc has a slight edge right now, but Maddie Miller's going to sprint her to the finish. This is going to be tough to call. They are both hammering
Looks
out.
like LeBlanc's in the front. Yeah?
Absolutely.
I think she got it.
Maddie LeBlanc, Maddie Miller.
Nice. So that puts Maddie Miller 5 for the long distance.
Yeah, well, technically, so this is there's going to have to be some air cleared here. Maddie LeBlanc's Canadian, so she's going to be representing Canada in the ICFs. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out. Like with Iri Tenorio in Brazil, he's not going to be able to represent the United States at the ICFs, but is he still going to be crowned the USA Sub Champion?
Absolutely, he would.
Yeah, so
USA Sub Champions are whoever's the champion of this race
will be
is going to be recognized as the overall winner. We will have to clear the air here because for USA Nationals,
right. So that would technically put Maddie Miller in 4th position, right? Jake Portwood in 1st position for the distance because of Erie being Brazilian. You know, so it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out.
It sounds like a
right?
lot of math. I hope
Yeah, it's
somebody
a
has
lot
a
of math.
calculator.
I hope somebody can figure it out. You know, and then you got Steve Miller, who's 51, so he's not in the mix. So
Here's what we know. There's a lot of fast paddlers out there.
yeah, and we just saw them. We just saw honestly, not only did we see the best in the United States just cross the line, we're seeing a lot of the top paddlers in the world just cross the line. So
Let's see if we can get back to number 7 here and follow the rest of our paddlers in.
There we
and
go.
give them a huge shout out as they're coming in. We also, it's very cool if you go to 5. This is what every paddler is paddling into, and they're super psyched when their friends are sitting there. They finish the race. They get to then congratulate their friends who got in front of them and got caught up with them. So that's always fun at the end of a race here. Okay, let's pick up 7, and then we can keep cheering on our paddlers as they come in further. And we have a special guest with us.
From outside Hilton Head.
Yeah, so my name is Jean Frew. I'm the executive director of the Outside Foundation, and of course we are the charity benefactor of today, and I wanted to welcome everyone to the race. This is absolutely amazing. We are so excited and so proud to be hosting this race this year again, and the national championship. And I think, our mission for the Outside Foundation is to get kids outside and to preserve and to protect our local environment. And boy, for the kids that are able to take this in, to see this level of competition, it's like watching the Olympics and saying, hey, I can do that. I want to do that. And so it's so inspiring, I think, for the youth in our community. And so we're just really pleased to be here. We are celebrating our 10th year this year.
Wow, 10.
So it's kind of lined up that to host this event. It's just really special.
Well, you've done a great job, especially getting kids out on the water. And what's your success rate this past year?
Well, it's been really remarkable. We started this foundation with the sole purpose of making sure that every single 7th grader in our county of Beaufort here would be able to have a chance to put on a life jacket, grab a paddle, hop into a kayak. The average tourist has a much better chance to go kayaking than a child born here, and that's not sustainable. And so this year we will host over 1,400 7th graders from every school in Beaufort County, public, private, charter, and homeschool. Remarkable.
Wow, that's incredible. 1,400 is what you're planning this year. That's incredible.
1,329 last year.
Wow. Wow.
And that doesn't include our Boys and Girls Club program, which we run in the summer, which is Learn to Paddle, and those are paddleboarders. And there's some talent in that group.
What an amazing mission. How do individuals find out more about what you guys are doing or become part of it or even donate to that? How do they reach out to you guys?
Sure, they can check out our website, www.outsidefoundation.org.
Whole huge shout out to my wife again, number 44, about to cross the finish line. That's Megan Sanoa right there. Woohoo!
Go, Megan.
Okay, Outside Foundation.
Yeah, and we're also on social media, Instagram, Outside FNDN, and also on Facebook. And typically we have, and of course we're going to be, having this live feed and using this, on our various social medias. And so, yeah, so they can sign up as a volunteer. In addition to our Kids in Kayaks program, we do litter sweeps on a regular basis. Tomorrow we're hosting a litter sweep of Pinckney Island Wildlife Refuge. We are the only group that hosts litter sweeps there. We have 100 people signed up. We'll be cleaning the Pinckney Island National Wildlife Refuge in addition to the Hague Landing as well. We bag oyster shells, so in partnership with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, we collect shell from 27 local restaurants. Last year we got 38 tons of shell. And we have built, to date, 27 reef in and around our waterway. So the waterway that we're in right now, we have built reef, and those new reef will serve as habitat. They'll protect our shoreline. It's kind of a neat way. It's the ultimate in recycling. To be able to say that, well, yeah, I ate at Benny's, and I grabbed that shell, and we built a reef out of that. So volunteers help us bag those reefs.
And replenishing the oysters, that's so important because the oysters clean our water.
Absolutely. An adult oyster can filter up to 50 gallons of water a day. It's remarkable, and that's just one. I mean, we have billions of them.
Well, we appreciate you guys being such a huge benefactor to the individuals out here on the waterways and protecting and cleaning our waterways and helping us with this event. It really makes a difference to the stand-up paddleboard community, and I know the stand-up paddleboard community is extremely grateful of that, and hopefully it becomes more and more a part of your foundation. So thank you.
And I sure hope we've got some of our local kids that are going to be jumping on boards and kind of giving you guys a little bit of competition here in a couple of years.
Good,
So
that's the plan,
that's
right?
Our goal. So thank you all so much for your support.
Thank you, Gene.
Thank you.
That's a full-time job, Gene.
All right, these are some more of our paddlers coming across the finish line. If you're watching again, hey, this is our Seychelles lookalike, right?
It sure is.
I think this was Mary is what we found out. I'm not exactly sure. I couldn't see her bib number there. Meredith, there we go. Way to go, Meredith.
Strong finish, definitely.
Well, even with the rain, this has been a pretty exciting day and a great race.
Absolutely. So again, a huge shout out. We are at the USA Sup Nationals. This is the OluKai Lowcountry Boil Paddle Battle that has just all kinds of stuff on the line for these paddlers here that are now making their way through the long distance race. We hope if you're still watching with us that you are watching and that you again keep cheering on these individuals. The individuals crossing the finish line, they don't always get the shout outs that some of our top racers get, but they mean as much, if not more sometimes, because they are the heart of this sport and they are what keeps it going. So big shout out to these paddlers. We're going to keep watching all of them until the last paddler crosses the line. So keep giving shout outs in the comments of who you know that you're seeing, because we're looking from afar and just trying to catch their bib numbers here.
And this race has been true to its name, being the paddle battle. We have seen some battles coming through the finish line around the buoys. It's been really, really exciting, especially with all these different camera views and how things have changed up throughout the whole course.
I think it's always fun when you see a 10K, which you typically think of like, oh, it's a long distance, it's a grind, and yet at those buoy turns and at the finish, they're still sprinting and they're really just giving it their all. It's pretty incredible to watch.
A lot of congestion on some of those turns too. It was amazing to watch how the maneuver around those.
I thought watching that first dock where they were about to run into it, it'd be fun if we can get some replays of that in the future here to be able to see. That was pretty intense.
Make the highlight reel.
Also, if you're watching today, make sure that you tune in tomorrow, Sunday, which is what month are we in now? We're September. September 8th. At 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be hosting the technical races here in Hilton Head, where we will be on the beachfront. We will be at a new location tomorrow at a place that's awesome that I can't remember. Sea Pines, Seaside, Sea something. You know what? We're going to be in the sand.
Are we going to be Sea Pines, or are we going to be at Caligny Beach?
Sea Pines Beach Club
Thank you
is
so
where
much.
we're going to be at. We're going to be in the sand playing.
And that's a great spot to view.
And the technical races are probably my personal favorite, because individuals are going to start on the sand. They're running into the water. They're going to get smashed by waves. Hopefully yours truly will be getting smashed by waves as well. And then they have buoy turns throughout the surf. They even have to get off their board halfway through, do a turn in the sand, and then complete their race. So it really is probably the most entertaining that if you have been watching us, we hope you join us tomorrow, again, 9 a.m. Eastern Time for the technical races here in Hilton Head.
Dr. Rob, how long is that race?
That race is usually around 1K, maybe even 800 meters. It depends on how the buoys really are placed, maybe even closer to 500 meters. There's Andrea Robb, a local goat boater paddler, a great friend of ours who's coming across the finish line for her 5K. Way to go, Andrea. Nice job. But, yeah, give or take, 500 to 800 meters is pretty average for these technical races, and they're going to be doing heats. So it's not just usually one race. They're going to be doing it. The top paddlers will be most likely doing 3 heats to end up winning the day.
And earlier you said there's going to be some wave action, huh? Last year I know it was pretty calm, a little bit of chop on the water, but we have a system off the coast. And
yes, we do.
As we can see, we have lots of rain, a little bit of wind, and waves tomorrow.
What are you thinking? What do you think they might experience tomorrow?
I actually didn't look at the forecast
since
I'm not paddling
I
it.
heard
but-
3 to 4 foot waves coming in, so I know that's not
Well-
big for some, but
And we're
that's-
not even going to talk about the sharks that love the shallow water.
yeah,
that
you
go
know,
in
we're
the
not
island.
going to talk about the sharks. They go away for the paddle.
Of course.
We could talk about the shrimp. There's
Yes.
some good shrimp
Yes.
out there.
Lots of shrimp, absolutely. The sharks go away, the shrimp come in, only for our race, of course. You know, we don't want to disturb
That's
the
the way it
habitat
works.
for a long period of time.
Yeah, tomorrow will definitely be interesting because there's more variables than this race. This race, you know, we had the variables with the turns, whatnot, current, everything. But it's definitely an exciting race to watch tomorrow between the waves, the turns, the sprints, jumping off the board, running with it on the beach, getting back out there, doing beach starts. A lot can happen, so those are exciting. So if you're around in the area, definitely come out to the beach tomorrow.
I was just checking the winds, and it looks like going to be maybe 7 to 10 miles per hour out of the northeast for the races for tomorrow.
Okay,
so.
that'll put some texture on the water.
Yeah, it
If
will.
we get some swell mixed in with that, it will
Right.
absolutely be interesting.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll have some rip currents as well.
Casey, maybe this is a really good time to talk a little bit about the crossing, and just tell the individuals out there why they should not be scared of paddling 80 miles, because I just don't know how that goes together.
Well, first of all, you don't have to paddle the full 80 miles by yourself. So
There you go. See, we're feeling better already.
Doing a relay for the crossing is so much fun. I've done a 4-person relay before. You split it up, paddle 20 minutes at a time. It makes it easy, makes it fun. You have all the camaraderie. But another reason you think paddling 80 miles across the ocean, that's really scary. Like, there's a lot underneath me, lots of unknowns. But every paddler, every team has a support boat right there. But personally, every time I've paddled the crossing, I've been almost like an arm's length distance from my boat. So if I got scared or if anything were to come up, like, I could just get right back on my boat and everything's okay. The Coast Guard knows our plan. So there is a lot of safety precautions, everything put in place. That is our number one concern. But, you know, it is just such an amazing, memorable experience. So much inspiration with that. And then being out there in the middle of the ocean, not seeing anything else. Sometimes you'll see some other paddlers, but after, you know.
Starting in the night, correct? It starts
Starting in the night. Yeah. We start at midnight. Yes, we see bioluminescence. There's so much incredible things to experience out there that you don't even know until you're out there. And every time you do it is a whole new story. So
How does it feel when you start at midnight, you're in the middle of the ocean, which to me sounds terrifying, and then all of a sudden you just start to see the break of dawn? That has to feel really good.
yeah. You know, there's certain points within the paddle. You have so much adrenaline off the beach. It's amazing once you like get in your rhythm. It's dark out, but you see the lights from the other boats. You know, there's other paddlers out there. You're not alone. Everyone kind of breaks up within the next few hours. You might feel a little bit alone, but then around like 5:30 in the morning, there's a little bit of gray light coming through. And as soon as that sunrise comes up, it is incredible because you can see again, which gives you peace of mind. But it's a beautiful thing to experience out there. And it's a whole nother burst of energy. You're like, all right, we made it through that leg. Now just a few more hours or several more throughout the day, and we're there.
Something about sunshine that just has some natural glory to it, for sure. All right, you're looking at our tents right there. You were looking at our tents.
Quickly.
Now we've got a great overhead shot. These are all our paddlers coming in from their races, just really out there crushing it and probably doing their best to make sure they finish really quick.
We got a nice drone view right
Yeah.
now, seeing who's left coming in from the 10K, the 5K. They're probably finishing up. As you can see, Monty, you know, everyone's kind of spread out here,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of single, solo paddlers, not many
Separated.
draft trains.
No. And it looks like that's about the end of it there, too. And there'll be an award ceremony shortly afterwards. And it's catered by Signature Catering. We appreciate them bringing the good eats out here for everyone.
I gotta say, it's the best lunch I've ever had
Yeah,
at a
good.
race. I come back every year for this lunch.
Oh, good for you. Oh, yeah. There's a paddler there with a young child on the front. So you're going to have your child paddling out with you?
Yeah, that's one of the amazing things about this sport where we're from, where I paddle in Jupiter, Florida. It is so family friendly. I mean, this whole sport anywhere is you see families out all the time, but specifically at our Tuesday night race league, you will see so many paddlers out there with their kids on their board, just like enjoying the sport together. And it'll be great to see, those kids get into the sport and pick it up and then maybe grow that juniors
Right.
division that we've been talking about.
Have you paddled through that inlet on a board?
Yeah, a couple times.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I've
I
seen boats that can't make it through
I
there.
like to play it safe, so I typically don't.
Yeah.
Gotta time the tides right. Not go out on Memorial Day or Labor Day.
Right. I've watched some boats struggle getting through that inlet many times. It's a beautiful area, Florida. Jupiter, Stewart.
See a couple OC1s coming in through the finish. Some stand-ups back there as well. The hard work is almost over for these guys and girls.
Yeah, it is. And what kind of participation do they have in the tech tomorrow? Is not as many, right? It's just.
I saw the lineup. There are a lot of paddlers that are going to race tomorrow. So we'll see a whole lot of stand-ups doing that tomorrow.
Yeah. And there we are under the tents. If you're watching that, we're all protected from the earlier rain, although it's not raining right now, but it did block our view. But we have these wonderful camera shots, so we're able to see the finish and see the turns.
I think we're going to have the drone pick up the last of the paddlers finishing. We'll get to see who's left out there on this glorious day.
Coming in last is still an accomplishment. We want to thank Dr. John Batson, too, for starting this so many years ago, 6 years ago. And he's here cheering everyone on the megaphone.
I do want to say, I think this is such a great venue and location for a race. It's really cool having this pier here to have all the spectators. There's plenty of room, but it is just such a beautiful course. Especially we have the high tide right now, which is great. Being a paddler, you get a little bit more extra room for the start line. I know at a lower tide that we had maybe last year or the year before, the start line is a little bit more squished together, so it can make it harder, throughout the duration of the course. But it's definitely a beautiful venue and so fun to come back every year.
Yeah, we are very fortunate to live in this area that the community came together, realized we had a need for a rowing dock and a pier, and they put it together. They started on Pinckney Island with a kayaking pier, a lower one, and then they improved this one. They saw, well, it needs to be a little lower, and so they made some improvements, and it's used year-round.
Do they ever do any fishing?
Oh, yeah. It's good fishing right here. Got flounder, trout, and redfish all right here at this dock.
Amazing.
An occasional tarpon swimming through.
I saw alligator one year up by the restaurant.
Yeah,
Did
we
you
had
see
an
any of
alligator
those?
and shark swimming right there together at
All
Hudson's restaurant. Did
All
you see?
right.
You saw that, huh?
We won't talk too much more about that.
Oh, that's all right. They don't bother you unless you swim with them. There's a good shot from our drone. I believe that's everybody in. Casey McCullough, 3-time world champion professional skimboarder with us all morning today. Thank you so much, Casey.
Thanks for having me, Monty. It's been fun being able to watch all these paddlers, getting the play-by-play. It's not every race that you get to sit in one location, but
Right.
see what's going on everywhere else. So it's been really cool having the live drone footage and all the different camera angles from the boats, whatnot. So it's been great to see how the race shakes up, too, at different parts, what you don't normally get to see.
And Dr. Rob Sanawa, we want to thank Dr. Rob for coming down and hosting the broadcast. And, of course, John Miskauskas is founder of Flying Fish Board Company and had some, hey, Seychelles, come over and talk to us. All right, Seychelles going to come over and talk to us about winning the race. And but I want to thank John. He had great commentary from John, and I was amazed that he was able to recognize everybody from such distance shots that we had. But and he identified some just by their paddling style.
Yeah, that's one thing. It's funny. It kind of similar to golf, where everyone can have a different style,
right.
and you can pick them out of a crowd. But so fun to see the different styles and everyone who's out here.
Seychelles is in. Congratulations.
Hello. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Fantastic finish. You were excited. Jumped off that board.
No, I fell, actually.
Oh, you
I celebrated too hard. That was a legit fall.
I thought you were doing like the golf championship, diving into the pond there.
Sometimes it's on purpose because it's so hot, but today wasn't hot at all. We were nice and cool, and I just got so excited I fell in.
Well, we were excited to watch you on that draft train. I think there were 5 of you there, and kind of switched places a couple of times. And we didn't have the camera shot when you took the lead. And how was that? How was that move?
It was an interesting race. Yeah, there was 5 of us, and then at some point it was 3 and 2, and I think I was already in the lead, like at the front at that point. So I don't know exactly what happened there, but when Stephanie was leading most of the first lap, and then at the beginning of the second lap, there was a little bit of a like, who's gonna lead, who's gonna and I felt like the Flying Fish girls were ganging up on me, but maybe that's just in my head. But at some point they were like, well, you go, and I was like, fine, I'll go. So it was kind of like I don't know, it was kind of a group decision, because we do try to share who's in the lead, so everybody takes a turn pulling, but it's usually not always equal. This was a pretty short race. It wasn't short, it was 6.4 miles, but it like felt fast. It felt like short, because of the multiple laps. It makes it go by faster. So once you're in the lead and you're getting towards the the last couple miles of the race, you don't give up that front of the pack position, because it's so much, nobody's it's harder to pass than it is to stay ahead. So
all right, well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's good to have you back.
Yeah, it felt really good.
Yeah, and we were watching at the start of the race. All 5 of you were next to each other, like side drafting, whatnot. And we're like, okay, at what point are they gonna get in a draft train? Who's gonna make that decision?
We're doing the same thing. Like, okay, who's making a move? What are we doing? Like, nobody, not that nobody wants to, but it's like it is. They're the people who are drafting if you're skilled at drafting, which all of us in the front there are, like, it is beneficial to you get to rest a little bit, and so and like I said, there was a little bit of there's some rivalry, let's put it that way. There's some rivalry going on, but it panned out the way it panned out, and I couldn't be happier. Thank you guys so much for commentating and being here and supporting the race and helping stoke out the fans and the followers online. It helps so much.
Thanks for making it exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Michelle, been here just about every year. I think maybe one or two you didn't make, right?
There was one year I was commentating because I was pregnant, but I think
Right.
every other year I've been here and done
Right.
the race since the beginning. So,
Good. Well,
yeah.
always good to have you here. We'll see you at the award ceremony.
Okay, a couple other big shout outs here coming up. I'm not sure if it's going to make the live stream or not, but there is a kids race happening. And again, this is what we all kind of are hoping for. We want to get more kids out here on the water, just like the Outside Foundation is trying to do. And I have to give a very special shout out to my daughter, Jade Sanoa, who is 8 years old, and this will be her second official race.
Wow.
That she has been pretty stoked for the last couple days and told all her classmates in school that she's going to be racing in nationals. So there's going to be a little kids race coming up here soon. And boy, what a fantastic day. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed yourself out here and will join us again tomorrow. There's Cindy Marsh, our Goat Boater paddler. This is her first big race
Awesome.
that she is in here today.
Do you know how many we have in the kids and youth races?
I do not know the official number. It's definitely smaller than we would like, which is why you need to make sure to get your kids out here and let them have fun. It's a fun race. It's all about just, getting out there and getting them stoked on all this excitement.
All right, guys, I will see you later. It has been fun.
If you are watching with us right now, we are just trying to do a little logistics here. We may be showing one last kids race. We may not. But again, we really appreciate you joining us for the USA Sup Nationals OluKai Lowcountry Paddle Battle. Please join us again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, or hang out with us for a little bit to see if there's one more race coming. We'll keep you posted as soon as we get information.
OluKai shoes bring the comfort of walking barefoot on wet sand. OluKai shoes bring the comfort of walking barefoot on wet sand to any journey. Because we don't travel to go further, we travel to get closer. And no matter how far we go, we can always bring the aloha with us. Any moment can feel like you're stepping into the spirit of Hawaii. Say aloha to OluKai. Anywhere comfort, anywhere aloha. OluKai slippers bring the comfort of walking barefoot on wet sand to any occasion. So every get-together feels just right. Because the comfort of aloha is something that always feels like home. Say aloha to OluKai. Anywhere comfort, anywhere aloha.
Sit right here, because you're gonna talk. Is this live too?
Should be.
Sit for a sec.
Live, grab the green one. Yeah.
You don't just hold it. You hold it right like that. See that little camera right there? Like you see us? Count to 5.
1, 2,
You gotta keep the mic right here. Count
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, check. Hey, again, I am Dr. Rob Sanoa, and I am here with a very special guest, Miss Jade Sanoa. Jade, are you ready for your first kids race?
Yes.
Yeah? Talk in the mic. Tell them how excited you are.
I'm super duper excited.
Super duper excited. If 10 is the most excited, are you 10 or are you more than 10?
Infinity 10, 109,000.
Okay, I love that number. Hey, again, thank you so much for being here with us all day for the USA SUP Nationals. A huge shout out to the Outside Foundation for all that they do and all the amazing sponsors that were part of this. We are about to kick off a kids race in about 15 minutes, so we're going to sign off our live stream today. We hope that you had such a blast with us. We hope you join us again on USA SUP YouTube page tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Time for the technical races coming up here soon. Again, we're signing off here in Hilton Head. We'll see you again tomorrow. Do you want to say see you later?